Hello.
And you did a little countdown thing. I'm looking forward to that. How you doing, bro?
Doing perfect. We got a big one.
This might be top two biggest cards of the year so far.
You know what's mad? How many times have we said that?
Yeah,
well, maybe not this year.
I can't lie.
We've been spoiled.
I can't lie. Dane has been spoiling us for the last few years, to be honest.
Listen,
Say
Uncle Dana gets a lot of hate. Yeah, he gets a lot of hate, but he's
rightfully so. Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, some of the cards he's been giving us.
Listen, if some of these fighters have to go a couple meals without eating for us to be blessed with these cards, then I guess you got to break a couple eggs. That is not part of Intrinity's vision, by the way. That is part of my mindset, nothing to do with the company. This is one of those cards you don't even mind that you're going to be up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, 100%. Even adds to it.
Okay, so all right, let's kick it all off.
Give me one. I'll just posting the link.
You know what would be cool if for the next one, does it let you change the background if we're able to have the poster next time?
Yeah, that's on the full version.
Premium. So everyone heard that it's part of the premium. So what we're gonna need you guys to do is follow our Patreon. All right. Forget about that. Let me just send.
Maybe soon.
All right. Woo! Come on. Where's the energy?
You know what? I'm thinking, we go. Oh, we've got a question already, but
okay.
We've got a question. Let's listen to the question quickly.
All right. Let me play it out loud. This guy.
I'm loving it.
If I did not know that was happening, I would have
never guessed it was happening. I would have never guessed that was happening.
He's giving Bruce Buffer a run for his money. All right. So if anyone doesn't know, like we said, we're in store for one of the biggest UFC cards of the year, and low key one of the most slept on.
Yeah,
it's not. A lot of people are sleeping on this card. A lot of people, of course, Adesanya, who's a star.
This is stacked top to bottom. Even the prelims, there's some good fights on there.
I didn't even know Damian Maia was on this.
Damian's on. Yeah, he's on the main card. But I'm thinking we go through this, like, just briefly touch on each prelim fight from the bottom and work our way up the card. So we don't really have to have like long conversations about each one. But Carlos Felipe versus Jake Collier. Just brief. Who do you think will win?
I've watched Carlos versus
Jake Collier. I've watched Carlos Felipe before.
I'm not familiar with either of them, to be honest.
So I'm gonna just say Carlos Felipe.
I've seen Jake Collier. I've seen him.
I've never seen Jake Collier. I don't think.
No, I've seen him. Let me see. Have a look at his last fight. It was Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall knocked him out. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Carlos Felipe, I've seen him fight a couple times. He's alright. Yeah. Nothing special, but he's 26. He's young. So I'm just gonna go with him just off of that.
I'm going off what I saw off my memory of what I saw, because Tom Aspinall knocked him out in I think it was 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, that's not good.
So just going off that, I'm putting all my money on Carlos Felipe.
Yeah, he's on 2-fight win streak as well, which is pretty big in the heavyweight division. He's probably 2 fights away from a title shot.
Yeah, one or two. One more, he gets the interim.
Yeah, pretty much. Next one, lightweight. Fares Ziam versus Luigi Vendramini. Can't lie, I don't know either of these guys. I've heard of Fares Ziam, but I've never watched him fight, so I can't give you
Luigi Vendramini. I'm gonna go with him just because he sounds like a designer label, a really good designer label. I'm going with him for now.
I'm gonna go Fares Ziam. I'm gonna go for Ziam. He's 6'1" at lightweight, 24 years old, 75-inch reach.
6'1" at lightweight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Luigi's 5'7". That's a good 6-inch.
You know what? Don't sleep on the short man.
No, of course.
Just for that, I'm going to support my fellow little man, Luigi. I'll put 10K on it. 10K on his head.
The next one, one of the UFC's I guess future poster boys, or I don't know, like they've kind of promoted him quite a lot. Chase Hooper versus Steven Peterson. Have you watched
Chase
him?
Hooper
A
gets
lot
a
of
lot of hate. He gets a lot of hate.
his striking, his striking, his striking
Okay,
is
but
very
look at who
suspect.
his dad and his mentor is. Ben Askren. He's not going to be learning so much from the striking god that he is.
But like his
In all
striking is
honesty,
leaps and bounds above Ben Askren though. So
yeah. But he has been putting in a lot of work in the PI, right? Let me look
yeah,
at Steven Peterson right now. The
Steven
brother of
Peterson's
Keith
just
Peterson, the referee.
tough vet. He actually kind of looks like him as well.
He does. That's what I said. I don't think
He won his last fight by knockout in round 2 against Martin Bravo. Before that, I think he was on
Okay, I'll be
2-fight losing
honest with
streak.
you. That tells me straight away that he's a striker. He went. Yeah, we might see Chase Hooper get finished this fight.
I'm going to see
It's not just
Peterson.
that his striking is slacking. The thing is, his defense is so amateurish. Like it's the
so
kind of
bad.
defense where you haven't sparred before. That's what's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like he's only
DSP
21 years old as well. Like I feel like they've rushed him into the UFC. He's got like some level of star potential.
It's the
And he's
look.
clearly got
You
some
know what it
talent
is.
there.
The look is very marketable. The
Yeah, he's
frizzy
clearly got
hair,
some
the
talent
full
there.
length,
Like a YouTuber almost, yeah. So
Mm,
like I respect his thing, and he's also like he's tough as well. So I'm not hating on this guy. Yeah.
he's great. He's very great.
He should have been in like more like on a regional circuit and kind of like almost on loan from the UFC in a way where they've done those.
Even I'll be honest with you, like his striking, even then, like to be tied to the UFC
No,
by name
what
like
I'm
that.
saying, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be official because a lot of times, I've seen like young fighters who've come out and said, "Look, I've been offered a contract by the UFC where I'm not going to announce anywhere that I've signed with the UFC. I'm just going to fight on another promotion, and then they've kind of got like first rights for me to go into theirs as soon as they see that I'm ready. So like Bellator or One Championship can't really snap them up. They just, you see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a loan deal, but no one really knows. So he should have. I feel like the UFC should have done that after seeing where his striking's at because it's clearly marketable.
He came through the Contender Series.
Yeah, he came through the Contender Series.
That's what it was. You know, Dana White loves his Contender Series.
Yeah.
Like any fighter that shows any ounce of promise from his own birth, because that's what it is to him. It's like it's his love child. He's gonna be riding them. Like he gave who was the one that got submitted by Davison Figueiredo, and he only had a couple fights after the Contender Series. Yeah, Perez. He gave Perez a shot way earlier.
Everyone was screaming. Yeah, everyone was screaming Moreno for the shot before that.
It was disrespectful to Moreno was on the prelims for that card, didn't it?
Yeah, against Rival.
Disrespectful. That's why he came out and he said his piece and he got what he got.
Yeah. What are you saying? Then?
I'm saying Steven Peterson, TKO. Are we doing the round by rounds as well, or just for
these ones? We'll just give a prediction and then like a round if you.
Okay, I'll say Steven Peterson TKO.
I'm gonna say same second round. I'll say round.
I'll say round 1.
I'm gonna say round 3 actually. It's pretty super stuff.
Something's telling me round 3, but I don't know. I don't want to play it safe today. I'm putting all my cards on the table.
Next one, Matt Favola versus Terence McKinney. McKinney is a late notice replacement for Frank Camacho, who just pulled out about a week ago.
McKinney's the lanky one, right? Let me have a look at him. No, he's not. He's only 5'8", 7'3". Matt Favola is very greedy.
McKinney's never fought in the UFC before.
He's a hungry young dog, though. Look at him. You can tell already. 26 years of age.
On a 3-fight win streak.
55.
All of those wins in the first round. Oh wow! I'm just looking at his last 3 fights here. Last one, won by punches. 1 minute 1:12 of the first round. The last one before that, head kick, 17 seconds of the first round, and then the last one before that was stoppage from strike, 16 seconds.
Okay, I'll do you one better. I just found out something. So that's all good and all. How about this? Here's this headline for you. New UFC fighter Terence McKinney shares story of redemption after being tased by police while on acid and shrooms. You didn't think I'll pull that one out of the bag. Apparently,
this
in 2015,
guy,
he was tased by police while he was on acid and shrooms, and I think there's video of it as well. I'm looking at his
his fights here, this guy's
Mhm.
never been out of the second round. Win or lose, he's always. There's one fight he won in 7 seconds. I think it's safe to say that he lost by a flying knee.
Oh wow.
I think it's safe to say he's won by heel hook, won multiple by rear naked choke, armbar as well. I think it's safe to say this fight's not going to distance.
Okay, how about this? You want to know how much of it? I told you. I took one look at him and I knew he was a dog. Apparently, so after he was tased, by the way, he said he was seeing demons and he started going crazy, and that's why they had to restrain him. He ate the tasers, 2 tasers, and he was able to keep moving. The police officers then restrained McKinney. They put him in an ambulance and took him to the hospital. And according to him, he actually died twice in the hospital. Like his heart failed twice. And the doctors were able to revive him. So he's a dead man. He's a walking dead man.
Man, the miracle man.
All my money's on him. I'm putting every ounce of our budget, the company budget, your budget, my family budget on this man right here.
That's my budget. Okay. Mo Fight, the ever romantic, he's going for Terrence McKinney. I'm saying Matt Favola round 1.
How can I deny a story like this?
I'm saying Matt Favola round 1. The UFC, this is an unfair sport. This is an unfair sport. Listen, we see villains win all the time. John Jones is undefeated.
Yeah, well,
this is not a good guy sport. This is not a good guy sport.
How about this? If I'm wrong with this fight, forget about any other fight that I predict. If I'm wrong with this fight, I'm wrong with every single other fight. I will bet my left pinky that he's going to take it home.
You've never watched this guy fight.
I've never watched him fight, but you know what? I just found out he came back from the dead. He was
fighting for his life.
What is Matt Favola going to do? What is Matt Favola going to do to him? This is the guy that came back from the dead twice. Not once, twice.
He's been finished 3 times.
First of all, he saw demons when he was alive and he was on acid and shrooms. Then he died and probably saw a couple of demons. He came back, said hello to the doctors. He said, let me go say goodbye to them one more time. He went and visited them, and now he came back a new reborn man. Forget Jesus. This is Jesus 3.0. 3 times. He will not be denied against Matt Favola. I'm sorry. What has Matt Favola done that he hasn't seen while he's been on shrooms? Okay, I'm going with for anyone that's listening, by the way, we're just running through the early prelims and then the prelims, and then we're going to get to the main card in roughly 5 or 10 minutes. If you're not familiar with the prelims or the early prelims, it'll be good to give you guys a listen, just so you're familiar, because like we said, from top to bottom, this is a stat card. You're going to want to tune in as early as possible. Even if they're not big names, the matchups, they did well. Like the UFC matching up these kind of fighters with each other. Yeah. Like even us, we're not so familiar with all these names, but we can tell.
Even this Favola McKinney fight is due to be either it's going to be a scrap.
Favola's a dog. Favola is a dog. All jokes aside, he's a dog. He's a dog.
And McKinney, his fights never got out of the second round, so we're getting a finish in this fight, one rail. You know what I mean? So, Pani Kianzad versus Alexis Davis.
Before we get to that, we got a little voice note. Let's play out loud.
I'll ask you two guys. I didn't want to try and crack my gut. I'll ask you two guys if you could pick 2 martial arts and be a black belt in them and know everything about them. Which 2 would you choose?
I already know you're going to say your Muay Thai.
I was going to say Muay Thai, but okay, let's take out the belt equation because, of course, there's a lot of martial arts. They don't do the belt system.
But high level, like black belt level, like the equivalent of a black belt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. He said 2, right?
Yeah.
I'd say Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, 1,000,000%. Okay. It's not for me. It's not. It's an easy one for me.
I'm going wrestling.
You see that? Everyone sees that. Come on.
Wrestling. I'm not even going to go with BJJ as well. That's the thing.
You're not going to go with BJJ?
I'm not going with BJJ.
Okay. Where are you going with?
Wrestling and kickboxing.
Wrestling and... You know why I said... This is why I said Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. Because the thing is, whether anyone knows it or not, there is a lot of grappling, especially anti-wrestling, that plays into Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So much like clinch work in Muay Thai. It's like, look at all of the Muay Thai elites that step into the UFC. They're the hardest ones to take down.
The hardest non-wrestlers to take down.
They are. So if you can develop a ground game, like a plan B for when you do get taken down, in the rare chance that you do, to me, those are the fighters that turn out to be pretty much unstoppable. because Muay Thai there's a lot of wrestling. Whether anyone knows it or not wrestling per se in terms of sweeps and no, there are sweeps. Sorry, not sweeps. So of course there's moves that are illegal, trips and drags and things like that. But sweeps
There's
and
no offensive wrestling in terms of with your arms, like double legs and
there's no double leg, but there's there's body locks. Like a lot of people
body
don't know
locks
that
and
there's actually
trips and
body
all
locks.
that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that play into, especially in the anti-wrestling part. So for me, it just, especially if you're looking at if I had to narrow it down to two, for me, if I'm shaping myself as the ultimate
But
fighter,
is it that we only have two? So like we have nothing else other than those two, or is it those are two strong points? So we're very good at those two, and then we've kind of got skills elsewhere.
This is typical of you. You're trying to work your way around it. That's what you're trying to do. For the sake of this, let's say just two.
Those are the only two. Then
yeah. Then and you said kickboxing. You didn't say Muay Thai, right?
Yeah. I don't want to give you a sport credit. I don't want to give you a sport credit.
Very interesting.
Now you know it is, yeah.
I won't hate on it.
With UFC in general, like if you look at the majority of the champions, they're wrestlers. You know what I mean? So in a sport that's very well rounded, in an era where everyone's got skills and everywhere in like all aspects, like wrestlers, I think it's kind of evident that they're dominant. They're the dominant.
I don't think not in this era though. I agree with you in the era that's past us. Yes, I agree, but like we've seen with a lot of the champions now, they're not elite wrestlers, are they? Like the only one I can think of is Kamaru right now. Who else is there? I'm trying to think. Is there another like to develop to develop?
But even then, having said that, yeah, the champions that have just the champions that are kind of around now, they've kind of become champions because a dominant wrestler has left the division. So like if you look at lightweight, bantamweight and flyweight, Cejudo has just left. He's an Olympic gold medalist wrestler.
Here's the thing with Cejudo though. It's interesting you brought him up. How did he become champion? Of course he has that base, but that wasn't good enough.
No, but the thing is,
what was the martial art that destroyed Cejudo?
No, but it doesn't matter about that. It doesn't matter about that because wrestling allows you to dictate where the fight wants to go. So if you want to keep it standing up,
except especially with Cejudo, when he came up against Mighty Mouse for the first time, what happened? Mighty Mouse is the type of guy where he is a true mixed martial artist in every shape. He is a genius where if he sees a weakness in a certain aspect of your martial arts game, for example, if he sees his weakness in your wrestling or your striking or your boxing or whatever, he will penetrate it. There's a difference between mixing it up and penetrating it like a sniper. Like when you mix it up, you're sort of penetrating it like a tank rolling through. But when you mix it up the way he did, it was like a sniper. So when he saw weakness, and don't forget, he out-clinched an Olympic wrestler. Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
He outworked him with a Muay Thai.
But he's got very high level wrestling in and of itself though.
But he'd never used the wrestling. He only used Muay Thai clinch when he finished him the first time round. And when they fought the second time round, it was Mighty Mouse's Muay Thai and more evolved than modern Muay Thai with the low calf kicks and stuff that disrupted Henry Cejudo. And it was only by Henry Cejudo adjusting the same way that he did against Marlon Moraes, right? Where he started coming in with that heavy boxing, just straight in your face, brawler, take it to the. He didn't really take it to the chin though. He was good at evading, so I shouldn't say that. But again, it wasn't through the wrestling per se. That I think that era has surpassed him.
But then, still, if we look at the champions that have kind of just left us, So whether you say that he was not, whether you want to say he was using it or not, he was still those two divisions. For there to be a new champion, wrestler has left. A guy who's like he's the highest level wrestler we've seen in the UFC credentials wise. Flyweight, it's right now it's Volkanovski. He's a good wrestler, but he's got like the Muay Thai as well. So lightweight, obviously it's Khabib who just left. He was dominant.
But here's the thing.
Welterweight is Usman.
Aljamain Sterling as, right?
A wrestler, grappler.
A wrestler, right? Yeah. And he got, let's keep it real, he got destroyed by Peter Yan.
Yeah. But Peter Yan,
sorry. He's gonna break my own.
He had problems in his early career where he just kept on getting taken down. And he went to Russia and he trained Sambo and wrestling with these guys for.
He also developed the Muay Thai foundation, whether you want to admit it or not.
No, 100%. But at the same time, if he hadn't had that wrestling education in Dagestan, then I'm sure Aljo would have been able to take him down much easier. So, and then you look at welterweight, it's Usman. He's kind of like, I think he's that evolution that you're talking about, who's been able to implement a striking style.
Even Joanna, because most of the like the strawweights before her time.
Joanna was before her time, and she was ahead of her time in terms of her game.
She dominated the most, like the wrestlers that couldn't take her down. Like,
the wrestlers.
As soon as they couldn't take her down, like it was like they were looking at a car, right? No, not even a car. They were looking at the end of a barrel of a gun. There was nothing they could do.
Yeah. The thing is, what I will say about before we get to the next question, what I will say about Muay Thai is, I think Muay Thai is potentially a wrestler's hardest matchup, but wrestler has a more dominant matchup against more people than Muay Thai. If you get what I'm
saying. I think you're right,
because
but there's a
wrestler is dominant against everyone else, whereas a Muay Thai, like if you're a high enough level wrestler, then you can beat a Muay Thai guy. Obviously, like it's just about how.
I don't think so. That's the thing. I don't think so, because you don't need to be a high level wrestler to provide problems to a high level wrestler. You just need some aspect of anti wrestling, like with Muay Thai. I'll be honest with you, Muay Thai. Like I love Muay Thai. Like it's my passion, everything. But there are faults, especially with the footwork, for example. We've seen it with Wei Li Zhang and Rose Namajunas. Those are to me, like rather than the wrestlers, those people with them creative and inventive footworks, they always, you see it with Cruz, like Dominic Cruz, he destroyed anyone who approached him with Muay Thai, or not just Muay Thai.
Muay Thai can, whilst it's like someone who's very high level at Muay Thai, they seem fluid, but at the same time, it's quite stiff and rigid within what they're doing.
The angles, that's the issue. Yeah. Like, because of course a lot of it is traditionally in a square ring. Yeah. Some of the angles is where they get caught out a lot. Because also there's this fundamental idea in Muay Thai where like you essentially you're a showman. Like that's one of the most important fundamentals of Muay Thai. You are a showman for the audience. So you're going to want to engage as much as possible. It's also why Sanchai, one of the greatest Muay Thai practitioners of all time, had his own inventive style, and he was so different from everyone else, and he was so successful because he made these guys look like they were stuck in the mud. So for me, it's like that inventive footwork that poses more of a threat to the Muay Thai practitioners rather than the wrestling.
Okay.
Wait, we've got two questions we'll play out loud.
What do you guys think of the military martial arts, Krav Maga?
Okay. Here's the thing. Do you want to go first?
I'll be honest, I don't know much about Krav Maga. Like, I've not. Yeah, I don't really know too much what it entails. To be honest, like, I've heard people say bad things about it, that it's not useful or that kind of thing. I can't say because I don't know.
It's okay. I'll be as upfront and I'll try to be as respectful as I can. As a self-defense art against someone who does not practice martial arts, and for example, if you're in a situation where you need to survive and you're
you're getting mugged, let's say like one person is trying to mug you.
Yeah. Then there are a lot of aspects of it where, to be honest with you, yes, it is pretty beneficial. However, and you don't have to take my word for it, you can search up. There's many videos of, for example, Muay Thai versus Krav Maga, or anything versus Krav Maga. Any person with any striking background, and even when I've sparred someone from Krav Maga, like there's the guard, especially, like the guard is very outdated, if I would say so. Like it's not practical if you're fighting someone who's experienced or someone who has any experience in striking whatsoever, because the guard is like I know it ranges from class to class. From what I know, of course, I'm not as experienced as you might be, but the guard is attuned to, like, if imagine you're boxing and my guard's like this. It's like, remember the old-fashioned, like the put 'em up 1930s boxing style. So just the guard itself, one of the most fundamental parts of any martial arts. So whenever I'm trying to analyze the martial arts, the first thing I'm really looking at is the defense of it. For the defense, you got to look at the guard, and the guard is very penetrable. You got to think of it like you're coming to battle with a shield that's got like 95 holes in it.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got one more.
Yeah.
Okay, no go.
I was gonna say, my guess, I don't know, like I genuinely I don't know what Krav Maga is in it. Like my guess is that you're saying that it's not useful against striking. My guess is that it's not like if you like you're talking as if it is a striking art in itself. And that means that it's not going to be useful against like a high level wrestler or a BJJ
No.
practitioner
Like,
either. So,
if it was, then like it's MMA is such a fast growing sport. If it was, it would have caught up by now.
yeah, that's what I'm
Like
thinking.
it 1,000,000% would have caught up. And even like I grew up, I never grew up practicing karate. Let me get that straight. But I grew up thinking karate was like the most elite martial arts sport.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was from watching martial arts films or whatever it was.
I think it's filmed. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we know from modern MMA, like it's very easy to be. You have to be the elite of the elite, and even then, you have to evolve your karate style for you to succeed in it. But when you do succeed with that karate style, it is so beneficial. Like we see with Makita, Wonderboy, McGregor in his prime.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to even Cejudo. He started to adopt a bit of a
karate stuff. Oh my god,
that was a game changer for him.
Change his career.
But the thing is, you have to have a very good base in other aspects of MMA to make that work. But if you can add it, it can take you over the top.
Yeah.
So I will never disrespect karate in a way where, like, because some people say, "Oh, karate is useless." Like, it's not useless, but you just need to have the skills elsewhere in order to utilize it, and then it can be so effective.
Yeah. Like with Wonderboy, like it wasn't the fact that, of course, he's a karate wizard. He was also a kickboxing wizard.
Yeah.
That's what they always want to write off. He wasn't just a karate practitioner. No, he had God knows how many kickboxing fights. He was a kickboxing world champion, and
like 74-0 or something like that.
Yeah, and he was a son of a gun to take down. He was hard to take down.
Yeah.
Like even
I don't know if that comes from the footwork.
Yeah. Okay, let's play this one, and then we'll carry on through the card. Silence. I think there's a little, it shows there's going to be a little voice peak at the end. Nope, nothing. I think his mic wasn't working. So, okay, Penny Kianzad against Alexis Davis. What have you got from that?
I've only ever heard or like watched Penny fight, so I'm just gonna go for her just off of that. I can't I'm not gonna act like I've watched every single fight of these two, but
I haven't watched either of them, to be honest with you. I felt like Alexis Davis rang a bell, and I just flicked through her last couple of fights, and it actually didn't. But I'm looking at her last couple of fights. Penny Kianzad.
She beat Eubanks and Betch Correa.
And Betch Correa.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And I think, how old is she? She seems young. Let me see. There's not much about her here, though. She is 29 years old.
She's a purple belt in BJJ.
Fights out of Iran. Okay.
I think she might train at the same gym as Hamzat and.
You're right. Shoot fighting as well. She's definitely like gone all over the world trying to perfect her skills. I'm going with her as well. We've got 2 questions here. Let's go through them before we get to the prelims. So for anyone who's listening so far, we were just running through the early prelims. So you haven't missed. Well, you know what? Yeah, you have missed some stuff because everyone needs to tune in for these fights. They're not sleepers.
There's decent fights on there, and a lot of these guys, you'll see like the top guys, Khabib, Conor, all of these guys, they started on the early prelims. So it's always interesting. Like sometimes, every now and then, I'll go back and I'll look at like cards from like UFC, like 172 or whatever, and I'll see, I'll look at the early prelims and I'll look, this guy is a champion now, or he's like a top contender now, and it's interesting to see. The top prospects, they all start on the early prelim, so like you can kind of earmark one of these guys from early and say, I knew about him before, I knew about him or her before everyone else.
Everyone wants to get bragging rights. I love that aspect of it as well, to be honest, because you never know. Whenever there's
the journey's fun as well. Like Hamza obviously comes up blew up very, very fast, But when I watched his first fight in the UFC, and that was, I think it was on the prelims. It was like a short notice replacement, all of that, It's cool to be able to jump on that hype train from the first fight, his very first fight in the UFC, and now now he's one of the biggest stars. Even though he's not fought a top 15 guy, he's still one of the biggest stars in the UFC. So it's cool to jump on that early. And that's like the most fun.
Tell there's that aura.
That's the most fun part of a guy's journey, of a guy's career, is that come up where you don't know, are they good enough? Are they really the truth? Like Stylebender, for example, there was that, remember the Brunton fight? We watched that together, where that was kind of the truth-telling one. Is is this guy really legit?
And we said, thank God, because it showed, not only did it showed every aspect of his game in that little small, however, it was that one round where he cleaned it up.
One round.
That was beautiful.
He defended every single takedown, and up until then, I think his first fight he got taken down 3 times, then 2 times, then 1 time, and then that fight it was a complete shutout. And it was like, okay, this guy's here. I remember saying
even
before that
though
fight,
he was getting taken down, the thing is, like, it was sort of
he still managed to
get up. He was testing his ground game.
Yeah,
like you could tell.
But I remember before that fight saying, if he can defend the takedown against someone like Brunson, he's one of the better wrestlers in the division. He's going to be champ. Because I was saying before then that he's Whitaker's nightmare matchup in the division. And
I remember I disagreed with you because I was riding. Me and Whitaker, man, we were boys. Still are boys, but
now Whitaker's improved, man.
You know what it is? I remember now. It's the exact same thing that you just said. I saw Whitaker when he was coming up in the middleweight division, especially the Jacare fight when he was the underdog. And I don't know what it was. If it was it wasn't just that he was an underdog. Defeating and Jacare. This is when I was watching videos of Jacare when he was smoking Gegard Mousasi, all of these guys. He's going
split decisions with Romero, where people are saying, nah, he won that.
Nobody wanted to fight him, and here comes little Bobby Knuckles smiling,
coming up from 170.
And it was
and he was a guy who was like he got finished by Wonderboy at 170. People were saying like he's some any guy at 170, and he comes up and he showed just how much a change of weight class can do for a guy.
It was when Jacare took him down. Jacare took Robert Whitaker down, and even this is what I love about MMA fans. When you get an MMA crowd full of knowledgeable people, they're not going to be booing once it goes into the grappling, because they know sometimes when it gets into the grappling situations, especially with someone as dangerous as Jacare, it's just as exciting as a slugfest. So when Whitaker came up and he was able to stand up, which was like for the first time in the last 10 fights, anyone was able to stand up when Jacare took him down or something like that. The pop he got from the crowd and the adrenaline it gave me. And then when he high kicked him and broke his jaw in the first round, and then he went into the second round, and of course he finished him. But that kind of high that you get, he was a dog in that fight, because
in every fight. I remember he let his arm get broken the other day. Jacare,
and now he's not in the UFC anymore.
He's been a dog. There was that grappling match where he tucked he got his arm broken, tucked it into his gi, and then still won. Yeah, he's
some
crazy,
people in this world are just built different.
Well,
let's play these 2 questions.
Yo, you man, good show as always. Just on the Krav Maga thing, it's just an Israeli nonsense. It's not even a martial art. All they do is tell you just hit like the private parts, go for the neck. It's just about teaching people to just be as brutal as possible, fam. It's not a martial art. It's dead. Yeah, but it's just to train up their people just to get mad. That's all it is. And they're trying to paint it as some sort of martial art. It's not at all.
That's another aspect that I actually ignored about Krav Maga. A lot of those aspects, if you take them into professional fighting, like 50% of Krav Maga is taken out of the equation, because of course, like, Krav Maga is a martial art where its objective is to kill your opponent in whatever savage or brutal way possible. So they aim for the neck, for example, a lot,
which is banned in
and everything. Yeah. So a lot of these techniques wouldn't work anyway. We've got Samuel putting in another question. I think he's having some technical difficulties. We'll see if this one works. I hear a little whispering, but no.
Yeah, something about karate.
Yeah. I don't hear nothing.
Fix your mic, bro.
Whatever AirPods or whatever you're using, whatever bootleg version of those AirPods you're using, throw them out.
A Bandudu
come to the
thing.
Samsung side. Come to the Android side. We don't get these kind of issues over here. I do know that he was asking something about karate. If you can try send it through. Maybe it's stereo has a problem with your headphones or something. Try disconnect it.
Go on the
send it through
YouTube
just
stream.
using your...
Go on the YouTube stream and you can send it like as a written question if you want.
Oh, would we be able to see it on here?
We'll be. I'll show it. I can show it. Like I can show this one here.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to do that, then hey, so we got one already.
We've got a few.
So, I didn't even see these ones. Good to see everyone here. Okay. Now let's go
the main prelims. This fight I'm looking forward to, yeah. Me and Hakeem Dawodu, yeah. He's one of the best prospects in that division, in the featherweight division, versus Movsar Evloev, yeah. Russian undefeated wrestler, 14-0. This is why I say watch the prelims, because this fight here, I don't know if it's going to be a banger. I don't know if it's going to be a banger, but I know it's going to be a very interesting fight, and it's going to tell us a lot about the trajectory of these two careers. They're both fairly young.
Zabera gets, of course, anyone cites Habib's name, they're going to be riding off of his coattails. But Zabera is not a bad fighter. And how old is Hakeem? Hakeem is 29 and he's got a win over him.
On a 5-fight win streak at the moment.
Movsar Evloev. What do you know about Movsar?
I've watched his last fight against Grundy, against Mike Grundy, who's a good wrestler in his own right, yeah. And he dominated. He did well. He dominated Nick Lentz, again, who's a decent wrestler. I think he's 2-0 in the UFC, 14-0 in total. Let me just double check. But Dawodu's on a 5-fight winning streak in the UFC.
This is a very good fight. This is a very high level fight for two prospects.
Evloev is on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. So 4 versus 5. Evloev's undefeated. He's ranked, I think, like 14th or something like that in the featherweight division.
Sport in Greco-Romaine. I just seen that now.
Man, I'm very high on Evloev, to be honest. I think he's going to be.
Have you seen Hakeem's grappling, or is he just strictly a striker?
He's defended takedowns from Zabira, so he's
that's a good sign.
But the thing is with Zabira, is the takedowns that I was seeing him defend were in the later rounds where Zabira tends to gas. So
either way, like
Evloev is ranked 14th. Dawodu's ranked 15th.
Yeah.
Bottom of the ranking, guys. These guys are both hungry. They've just got into the rankings. They've just busted their rankings. They really want to stamp their mark on this division. You know what I'm saying? So
this is a good one we got here. This is a very good one.
I've been looking forward to this fight. I've really been looking forward to this fight.
I didn't even know this. I saw him on UFC Embedded. And then when I saw him on UFC Embedded, I was wondering who he's fighting.
Yeah,
it was Israel Adesanya who was saying hello to him. This is a very
fight that's flying under the radar. So definitely tune in for that. That's one of those, like, you know, there's certain cards where like you go to sleep and like I would have been waking up for the prelims just to watch this because I'm very intrigued by both of these prospects.
Here's what I'd say to anyone who's watching and they're not a hardcore fan, regardless of the names that you're going to be seeing. If you're not recognizing the names, listen, a fight is a fight at the end of the day. And
these guys, these guys are top prospects. So not 5 years from now, like 2 years from now, 1 year from now, 1 to 2 years from now, these guys are probably going to be in the top 5, or at least one of them is going to be in the top 5, and you'll be able to say, "Oh yeah, listen, I was watching them just as they were breaking through." This could very well be their breakout performance, where they because it's such a big card, and everyone's talking about this card, where they really stamp their authority on this division and put their names on everyone's mouth. So you should be excited about this fight. I'm going with Evloev. Wrestling masterclass.
Okay. I think Hakeem surprises a lot of people with his wrestling takedown. And I think after it's funny because after the way we just bigged up this fight, something is telling me it's not maybe a shot. Okay, shut out. I don't know why. I'm leaning towards shut out. I think we're gonna see an amazing performance. Maybe I'm wrong and it goes the other way, but I don't.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's going to be, because it's a grappler versus striker matchup. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a shutout one way or the other, and we're going to really see who's set to kind of really burst themselves into the top 10 of this division. Who's going to be a real problem in this division? Because if Evloev goes out and wins, in dominant fashion, it shows that he's he's a problem. He's a real problem.
Okay.
And I think that's probably a bigger problem than Dowdy because there's a lot of top strikers in this division, whereas there's not that many top wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. We remember we spoke about this. That's the thing with featherweight is not only does it have amazing strikers,
A lot of
every
BJJ
striker is
artists,
so different.
but it's got a lot of great BJJ artists as well.
This is like it's almost like the highlight division. Like this is like the finesse division.
This division, is the best division that doesn't get the respect it deserves. If you get what I'm saying, because if I go through top to bottom, we've got 15 Dowdy, 14 Evloev, 13 Burgos, 12 Bryce Mitchell, top prospect, 11 Tariq Yusuf, 10 Giga Chikadze. Oh my days! Have you seen this guy's body kicks?
Yeah.
9 Edson Barboza.
What role do you think McGregor had in playing into that? Because imagine when you're chasing someone like McGregor, Supernova, who's sitting on the throne, like just the traction that builds up through the years. We have it like the Ronda Rousey effect and stuff. Because featherweight wasn't so good if you think about it a couple of years ago. And now all of a sudden, all these finesse artists are coming out, especially showmanship in that division. That's probably the biggest division for showmanship.
Maybe showmanship is due to McGregor, but I don't think the level of fight is necessarily due to him because I think he's just kind of came around, burst onto the scene as a superstar in like 2015. So we're only 6 years removed from that. I don't think that's enough time to really see the fruits of his labor in terms of prospects coming up. And not a lot of these guys really remind me of Conor.
No, not in terms of that. Not in terms of that. In terms of their own finesse, like their own style.
The other thing I would say, is what's I gonna say? Okay, I've lost.
That, my friends, is what you call CTE.
You're the striker.
Let's run through. Let's run through.
Just literally go through the rest of this division. Giga Chikadze at 10, 9 Barboza, 8 Ige, 7 Arnold Allen, 6 Josh Emmett, 5.
Has Giga got a fight coming up now, or is he still Giga?
Oh no, I don't think he has.
He's campaigning for Holloway, right?
Yeah, he was. 4 Zombie, 3 Yair, 2 Brian Ortega, 1 Holloway, and the champ Volkanovski. We don't know what's going on with Zabit right now.
I think Giga fights Zabit. Imagine that fight. Zabit's comeback fight against Giga.
Nah. The thing is, Zabit deserves a higher fight.
He does. But Giga is a very high level fighter, just about the
No. But the thing is, Zabit, like, say what you want to say about Ali Abdulaziz, but this guy, he's a great manager. So he's not going to put his guy in a position where he's fighting a tough guy who's not going to really give Zabit the push to a title shot he needs. I think if Zabit comes back, he's only fighting either Yair, Ortega, Holloway, or Volkanovski.
Don't bring up that Yair fight. That Yair fight is the biggest.
You know what's crazy, when after Zabit, kind of announced that he doesn't know if he's retiring, he's gonna have a he's gonna have surgery. Which, by the way, today it got announced that there was a last minute postponement of the surgery, so we don't know what's going on there.
Ooh. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know. He posted it on his Instagram saying like, last minute my surgery got postponed last minute. Everything will work out how it's supposed to by the will of Allah. Something along those lines. So you're gonna see.
You know what? When we do a featherweight retrospective for we might even do one for the Zombie Dan Ige fight, which for anyone who doesn't know, Korean Zombie against Dan Ige. When is it? Next week? That's next week.
I think
I don't say this lightly. That has potential to be one of the greatest fights of all time. And it's not so late. It starts till next Saturday at 12 a.m. I think, the main card.
Yeah.
Right, let's focus on this card. While you're looking at that, I'm going to run through these questions.
You know, one thing that I found funny, is
I've done martial arts for like 6-7 years, not going to lie, but I would say you cannot be a boxer's punch and you cannot be a boxer's footwork. I did that for like the first 2 years just to get good with my footwork, good with my movement, bobbing, weaving, kind of. I went to Krav Maga, I've done that for like 4 years. But that's so sick, inside the military martial arts, it's like, get used to that. Hurting people in the poking them in the eyes, jabbing them in the throat, kicking them in the knackers. But Muay Thai is like the one that compete there. So like fucking seeing so many man coming to the dojo that I got conditioned shins and they're just like, fuck it, every time I hit them, and I like see that reaction, bro. So no, martial arts is not violence to me. Such a fucking spiritual discipline.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Wait, Ishi, were you saying something?
I was saying about Yair that as soon as Zabit announced that he was kind of considering retirement, all of that, Yair says, "Oh yeah, I want to fight you next." I'm like, oh my God.
You have a fight against the greatest featherweight of all time in your pocket, and you're focusing on anything else right now. He's lost his mind. The high altitude in Mexico must be getting to his head.
Oh my days! I forgot he's fighting Holloway. I forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot. Oh, Holloway's gonna kill him.
Right. But you know what? Yeah.
Is there any more questions?
We'll save that one. We'll save that one. Yeah.
Is there any more questions?
Let's run through them.
Okay, let's
3 more.
What do you think of Adesanya Varetti? I think that'd be a good fight, though. I think Adesanya was smoking at that more time. I think Adesanya was smoking still.
We're gonna get to that.
What we're doing is, we're gonna get to that. We're just running through the cards one, but we're running through each fight one by one, and we'll get to that roughly in like the next 25 minutes or so.
Hopefully. Wait, because we've spent 46 minutes just talking about the.
Maybe a bit of a gas tank issue, but in terms of just a pure technique, this guy was next level. Like, where is he from? Because honestly, I haven't seen one fight. I don't think he's fought in years. He's in the UFC. Like, what's going on? I want to know where is the.
Okay, so on that, so he hasn't fought, I think, in 2 years now. Obviously, like you mentioned, the cardio issues. His coaching team came out and said that the reason he's having cardio issues is he's having spasms in his diaphragm, which is kind of causing the cardio issue. And at first, they were saying this is something that can easily be corrected just by massaging it properly, because he apparently has very good cardio in training. And it's something that always I found weird, because if you look at his body type, he's got the body type where you would expect him to have very good cardio.
Long distance runner.
Yeah, and normally the guys who don't have cardio have great finishing ability, where they've got like knockout power, that kind of thing. He doesn't really have that, so it always kind of confused me why he doesn't have cardio, or at least why he hasn't showed it. So they kind of said that they cited the diaphragm spasms, and apparently
that's oof.
Relating to that, he's needing surgery to get that corrected, because apparently I'm guessing the massages that they said were so easy were not working. So he was scheduled to get surgery to correct this, and then he was going to make a decision on whether he's going to carry on with the sport or retire based on the outcome of that surgery. He was supposed to get that surgery
like in the diaphragm region.
I think so. I assume so. Like there's the details are kind of fuzzy. That was scheduled for today or yesterday, one of the two. He's put an Instagram post out today saying that the surgery's been postponed at the last minute. So we've got to see from where he goes from here, whether he retires, whether he keeps on fighting, because he might be right up there as the most talented fighter I've ever seen compete. Like skill for skill, you know what I mean? Obviously, like cardio, power, those issues that might prevent him from becoming a UFC champion, even if he does come back. But skill-wise, he's the best fighter in the world for the first 2 rounds. So, man, I definitely I need to see him come back.
You know what? When we do a featherweight retrospective and do a podcast for it, we're gonna dive deep into this. We'll focus on this card for today, but like as much as it hurts to say, like with something that spasms, that's a motherfucker. That's a serious. Like spasms are not a joke. People make it seem like it's not. It's like, but spasms in the diaphragm. I haven't even heard of that, and it just sounds. It sounds like. I'll be honest. We should be preparing ourselves for this scenario where we don't see Zabit fight again.
I watched an interview with him maybe a couple months ago. He has been training. His English has come on leaps and bounds. Like he's now, from what I saw in his last interview, he's got near, not quite there, but like kind of close to Khabib, kind of like circa 2016 level English. Whereas before, like he could barely, like he needed a translator. He could barely speak any like a lick of English. So in terms of his marketability, if he does come back, he can really become a big star because his style is one of the most exciting.
Like what you said.
He's
like what you said. Honestly,
he might end up being the greatest what if story in UFC history if he doesn't come back.
That's the thing with a fighter so mythical. He is, as much as Adesanya is the style bender, he is the last airbender of MMA. The way this guy mixes his, it's not just mixing it up. He is elite in every aspect of martial arts.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen something like that before. And again, maybe it plays into his mythic that we're not going to get to see him again. Yeah. One more, and then we'll run through the card.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I've heard a little bit about this fight. Like they're two strongmen, innit?
Mm-hmm.
They're having a boxing match.
It's whoever who doesn't know, it's the Mountain from Game of Thrones. He's got a celebrity boxing fight against currently the world's strongest man, right? Eddie Hall.
Yeah, I'll watch that. Like if it's on at like a reasonable time, and there's like maybe if it's on the same day as UFC card, well, I'm up anyway. I'll definitely watch that because that's like hardcore TV. These guys are gonna gas out after like 30 seconds.
Yep,
that's gonna be hilarious to watch.
The Mountain, he had a warm-up fight against I think it was against an amateur boxer, and he actually did better than a lot of people expected. But like, he's very slow. Of course, with that size, it's like watching it in slow-mo, to be honest with you. Especially when you go from high-level UFC or high-level boxing, and then you watch that the next week, you're gonna see it for what it is. But I'm still gonna be there with my popcorn, and I'm gonna be watching it with you.
Yeah, you see his light sparring with Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
the way he gets out after like 30 seconds.
McGregor kept keeping his steady, right?
Yeah. And then he came out after that and said, "Yeah, if I was really trying, I would have beaten McGregor." I was like,
okay. He's shameless. He goes, "All I need to do is grab him." So grab him.
The thing is, he could have grabbed him without even hurting him like that. So
he tried. That's the thing. If you watch,
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, but he just couldn't do it. But he was acting as if it's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't want to do it. It would hurt him."
How can your ego be that high? Like you're sparring against. Was McGregor the?
I think he was double champ at the time. He might have been double champ at the time.
He was double champ at the time. Well,
he was at least coming up. He was at least. I can't remember, man. But
I think it was before the Mendes fight.
I might have been. Either way.
All right. So Lauren Murphy, Joanne Calderwood.
Bob Murphy.
Bob Murphy.
This is Joanne Calderwood.
Okay, don't hate me.
Jojo all the way. Jojo all the way.
This might be fight of the night. I'm not even joking.
No, it's not.
I'm not even joking.
It's not going to be fight of the night.
So remember I said this. Both of them, especially Jojo, they love to scrap, man.
Yeah, they'll go for it. I think the technical level is not high enough for it to be fight of the night. When you've got
not the technical level, but
but you've got, on this card, you also got guys that are dogs, and their technical level is very high. So I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think people are sleeping on it. But like the other fights, like obviously the Figueiredo versus Moreno, that fight, both of them on a full camp this time. The one that I'm really looking forward to, Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell, I think that's going to be a banger.
Ooh,
that's my fight. That's my pick for the fight of the night. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, you know what? I just see Lauren Murphy, Joanne Calderwood going in a phone booth slugfest. That's what I see. I don't see it going any other way.
I can see that.
All right, so
JoJo's got to get her. JoJo's got to get her arm raised in a 3-round unanimous decision.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Jojo. Eric
Pretty far.
Anders against Darren Stewart. I'm gonna go with Eric Anders. Eric Anders is a dog, man. He's a dog.
They
he's not bad,
they fought before. Their last fight was against each other, no? And it was
a no contest. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think I've seen Darren Stewart fight. Is this the guy that's from Birmingham? Let me have a look.
He's from London. He's from London.
Yeah. This guy's not so bad. He's not so bad, honestly. He's better than his record might suggest. I'm going with. You know what? No, I'm gonna change my vote. I'm going with Darren Stewart. Who have you got?
Yeah, I think I've got Darren Stewart as well.
Okay, Drew Dober.
That last fight it ended in a no contest after there was an illegal knee.
Whose knee was it?
It was Anders landed on Darren Stewart. It was only round one. From what I've heard, I can't remember the fight. Like it's like not like a big fight in my head, innit? People have been saying that Darren Stewart was winning, but I'm not. I can't be 100% sure. I'm just going on my patriotic thing. I'm gonna say Darren Stewart.
Your fight of the night, Drew Dober
my fight of the night. That's gonna be a banger. That's gonna be a banger. They're both dogs. They both bring it every single time they come into the cage.
The UFC are smart. There's always the catch before the main card. Always. Yeah. If you're debating whether or not you want to watch it, whether it's too late, it'll probably be around 2:30. Around 2:30, tune in. Yeah. Drew Dober against Brad Riddell. I think we're gonna see I think we're seeing multiple knockdowns in a round. From both of them. I can see it happening from both.
I can see it happening. I can see I'm gonna say 2 knockdowns, 1 apiece. I'm gonna see very close rounds that are kind of punctuated by a knockdown where like it's a back and forth between Dober and Riddell in round 1, and then one of them lands a knockdown and that guy just kind of steals the round that way, and then the same thing happens on the other side in one of the other rounds. I can see that happening. I do think it's gonna go to the decision because I think they're both dogs and they're just going to be. They're tough. They're going to be there all night. You know what I mean?
I think we're getting a finish.
You love predicting your finishes.
I love.
If it's a finish, finish. I think it's a late finish, round 3.
That's the thing. Like, you know what? Dober has power.
He does.
He has power.
That left hand, especially.
He has power. Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Because I see them both getting knocked down in one round.
I'm going Riddell by unanimous decision. Or split decision.
I'm going
Riddell split decision.
Just based on his dog, I'm going round 1 Riddell. I think Riddell gets knocked down first. And I think Drew Dober goes a bit too hasty for the finish and he gets caught. And I think it's not KO, but TKO.
But
that's what I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going round, 3-round split decision win for Brad Riddell. I think it's going to be a very close fight. Nip and tuck. But when I say nip and tuck, don't think it's going to be like a tentative fight at all. These guys are going to go at it.
I'm licking my lips for that one, man. Yeah. Okay, we got one message and then we're going to get to the main event.
The main card.
Sorry.
The UFC love using that Calderwood girl. Yeah, every time I see her fights, it's always on a big card and I'm just seeing her on a random. Blood in her face, everything, just mash up. All the time, some warrior settings, yeah. I don't know, they're abusing her in my opinion, but yeah, I guess it'll be a good fight.
You know what it is, yeah? Why the UFC love her so much, yeah? Is she was they basically scheduled her for a title shot, yeah. And she had it was set in stone, she's getting a title shot. I think Valentina couldn't make it, so someone else offered to fight her. Now she could have easily said, like, you know what, like this division is not even a big draw. I can just wait. I'm gonna wait for Valentina. I'm gonna get my title shot. 2 months later, she said, "Nah, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna fight this fight anyway." She lost the fight. You know what I mean? But just her willingness to do that puts her in the UFC's good books, where they'll do things for her.
That's that risk that you take,
one of the big cards. She took the risk, but even though it didn't pay off, even though it backfired in that sense, yeah. She will always be in the UFC's good graces because of that. Because they remember that she didn't need to do that. how many fighters have we seen in that same situation? You're saying, I'm not taking that fight.
Especially with the welterweight division right now.
Yeah, that division's full of divas.
It is. It's a diva division. With JoJo, she's a dog, man. She's a dog. Honestly, if you feel sorry for her, you're feeling sorry for the wrong person, man.
She's better nice,
the
though.
true Scottish.
She's one of the sweetest people ever.
Like,
she's a sweetheart.
She reminds me of them nice English teachers that would always want to help you.
Yeah,
that's what she reminds me of.
And then she tells you, "Oh yeah, I do Muay Thai in my spare time." You're like, "What?"
I'm like, and then she shows you. Paul Craig with one of the most controversial nicknames of all time, Bear Jew, against Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is a dog. He's a dog. Yeah. He's very interesting.
He's undefeated, 6'3", and yeah, I'm going for Jamal Hill in this fight.
Jamal Hill finish. Yeah, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, I'm going for a finish. I really don't like Paul Craig. He really annoys me because there's been a few fights here. Okay, I'm a BJJ guy. I love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
but I hate.
I know.
That's one thing that I can't stand more than almost anything else in fighting is when a guy just lays on his back here and asks for people to come into his guard. I hate that. This is a fight.
You know, you say that, but you do that in real life. Hypocrite.
No, listen. I do it in real life. Listen, yeah, but this is a fight. Yeah, this is a UFC fight. Like, it's not like a grappling match. It's not. Even like, my coach bans us from pulling guard because, like, he's like, this is not in a real fight. In a real fight, you're gonna have there's gonna be glass on the ground. Like, you're not a real fighter if you're pulling guard. If you're pulling guard in against a top level wrestler who's got high ground and pound, you're gonna get destroyed. So he bans us from pulling guard in competition or even in the gym. But yeah, I hate that.
I think he tried that with Jimmy Crute, and Jimmy Crute submitted him. That's the funny thing. So Paul Craig, the thing is, he gets finishes, man. Like, he's a sleeper when it comes to people. I don't know.
He finished Ankalaev. He's the only guy to beat Ankalaev. He was losing. He was like easily losing that fight. He got a triangle choke in the 4 minutes and 59 seconds
round
in the third round.
4:59. Wow. He gets a lot of hate, but he's actually pretty entertaining. Like, he's pretty entertaining. Yeah, I think Jamal Hill finishes him in the first round. I think he cleans up. Did you see the interaction, by the way?
No, I didn't see it.
It was a feisty little one. I
heard a little bit about it.
Shit to him. It was a good one, a nice interaction.
I heard a few things, like, even before this week, there's been some level of friction between them. I don't want to say beef. There's friction between them. I think also the fact that, like, their positions in the rankings, I think Hill is just ranked one spot below him, whereas Craig has been in this sport in the UFC for how long? Hill's been he's fought twice, and he's at the same level. I think that's gonna rub Craig the wrong way because he's like, look, I've been here for how long? I came into the UFC 8-0. I was 8-0 at one point as well, coming into the UFC. And I'm only one spot ahead of you. I need to show you that you don't belong here. Yeah. You need to go and pay your dues the same way I've done.
He's good.
Yeah, I'm picking him to win. But I think there's going to be that added kind of motivation to Paul Craig.
He knocked out OSP.
Yeah. The thing is with OSP, you don't know what OSP is going to turn up in it.
OSP is always a problem, but if against the elite strikers, he struggled. But at the end of the day, if you're finishing OSP at that level, you're serious. You're a contender. John Jones couldn't even. I know it's disputed and we won't get into it, but John Jones himself couldn't finish OSP. We've got a couple questions on YouTube that people some.
But your final predictions? Round one.
Jamal Hall, round one.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a very good showing for him. Wait, let's check if we've got any comments on YouTube before we continue.
Yeah. Okay, we've got quite a lot. I've been missing this.
I just got told about them.
My mic's not working. Neither of us picked karate as our chosen martial arts. Does that mean that karate is a dead sport? Is it just not feasible in today's UFC?
We did speak about this, but just to go over it, especially your question, if there are people with karate backgrounds. There's Stephen Wonderboy, Lyoto Machida, who was one of the best strikers in the UFC. There's, you could say McGregor. You know what made McGregor successful was that aspect of karate. So we have to give him that. And like we said with Henry Cejudo, the thing that changed his game was when he came in and he shocked everyone against Wilson Hales with his bouncing karate style, and he knocked him out, he cleaned him out. Yeah. So it's more
karate by itself. Karate by itself, it's not an elite martial art, but as a supplement to other martial arts, it's one of the best.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about if you can, let's say you've got taekwondo and you've got Muay Thai and wrestling, as your base. So those are your two, and you can add one kind of lesser known martial art. So we're not going BJJ or boxing or all of those. Like you can add like taekwondo, karate, Krav Maga, Wing Chun or whatever. Like karate might be the best one for that. I mean, the best like additional base. So it's definitely like I think it does get some unwarranted hate where people kind of disrespect it and act like it's like a not a serious martial art at all, but it can be useful.
With any aspect of martial arts, if you know what to take from it. There's obviously some martial arts you can build as your foundation, and they're strong enough to be your foundation. But there's some, like, and how this style feel about karate, there's some they're not strong enough to be your foundation, but
they can take your game to the next level.
Exactly. They provide you the floors to take your entire foundation to that level.
Yeah, they might not raise your ground, but they raise your ceiling. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think there's another comment here. I think this is on me talking about pulling guard.
You did this to me as well, I think.
I was joking. No, listen.
No, you weren't.
GSP's base.
GSP. Yeah. Wow, I blanked out there. We both had a howler. That's one of the biggest howlers we've ever done.
No, the biggest one, when we doing a show, where we said, I think this might have been on stereo, where we were talking about the best European fighter of all time. We forgot who we just said.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's the worst from us, to be honest.
Alright, wait, let me play this one message and then we'll get to Demi Man below. It's funny because this is Bilal's message.
Fam, honestly though, sometimes these fighters, they've got to be a little bit smarter. They've got to have people advising them, telling them, you know what, if you wait it out a little bit, you'll get a good fight, you'll get a title fight. Look at Tony Ferguson, man lost his prime position to Justin Gaethje for no reason. Honestly, so I don't know. Like Tony Ferguson could have fought Khabib. He wanted to fight. How many times he tried to book that fight, but he ruined it by fighting Gaethje and getting banged. So that's happened how many times to how many different fighters? So I think honestly, some of them, I know you're telling me Jojo Calderwood, like she fought, she lost, she's in the UFC's good graces. But listen, who cares about all of that? At the end of the day, you've got to look after yourself. Get in, get out. As McGregor said, that get in, get rich, get out, something like that. Honestly, some of these fighters need a little bit of better advice, in my opinion, because some of them are just getting, as I said, used. Honestly, I feel like they're just being used, some of them.
100%, I hear it. 1000% I hear it, and you're right. But at the same time, you don't know what kind of pressure that these guys are under by the UFC to take that fight. So, for example, Tony Ferguson, you remember in 2019 when Khabib was suspended because of the whole jump in the cage incident. So they made they tried to make an interim title fight between Tony Ferguson and Max Holloway. And he said, no, I deserve a title shot. I'm on a, I think, 11-fight winning streak at this point. I mean, I deserve a title shot. Give me the title shot. I will wait for Khabib and we'll fight in September or whatever, whenever he's back. And UFC said, oh, you don't want to fight? Okay, cool. And then they made Poirier versus Holloway for the interim title. And they said, look, the winner of this is going to fight Khabib. So you don't know the pressure that Tony Ferguson was under. Tony Ferguson ended up fighting Cowboy for nothing. And now he just got put himself. That was another number one contender fight where he's fighting for the belt. He's like, and then this year, 2020, he got put in the exact same position as he was going into the potential Holloway fight. And he was like, yo, I can't make that same mistake this time because the UFC are probably going to try and make Gaethje versus Conor or something like that. And then they'll get the interim fight. And UFC are going to use any excuse to make a Conor Khabib too. So he knew he can't waste the opportunity.
Man. With the case of Ferguson, it's one of the most heartbreaking cases in UFC, man. It is. Because not only it's not just that he's putting those years away, he's catching a lot of mileage that he didn't need to catch. Whether you want to admit it or not, the Khabib, the Ferguson that would have faced Khabib would have been a whole different Ferguson, a whole different car with a lot of less mileage on it. And we will never get to see that because of the greed of UFC. I love UFC till I die, but UFC is a dictatorship and it will not change until they unionize. And they will not unionize because the separation between the fighters up here and the fighters down here is so far that
that's the thing. Like
these guys to be lowering down here.
If you refuse to fight because you don't because you want more pay, another fighter will step up to the plate and fight for free.
Exactly.
I mean, there'll be guys that genuinely they'll fight for free because they just want to have that chance to get the exposure. So it's crazy.
That's what it is. When these guys down here are waiting for these guys up here to come down to them to provide them with the respect that they want, and then all of a sudden when this guy comes down here and now there's a spot up there waiting for them, it's the same thing that always happens. Yeah. Dana's like, okay, come here, brother. Let me give you what you always wanted.
It's the crabs in the bucket
he goes
mentality.
Right, takes his place. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
It's also interesting you said that, though. It's interesting you said that because this is what Vettori did that was good. I know when we get to it, and a lot of people roasting for the fact that he held onto that L from Izzy like it was a win, but him constantly chasing Izzy, constantly. Every fight he was winning on that streak, he called him out. He brought him back into his picture. He was hanging on to his coattails, but he was also bringing in that shine and putting a light on his prospects. The thing is, by him doing that, he put himself in that opportunity. It's the same issue that we have with these fighters that lose that opportunity. He was able to force that opportunity down that throat. Because let's be honest, he does not deserve to fight Israel Adesanya right now. There's one man that deserves that fight, and that's Robert Whittaker. But he did what he had to do on his part, and he's where he is now.
The UFC dropped the ball on that, to be honest, where they should have made in March. They made it was Vettori versus Till and Whittaker versus Costa, right? That was kind of those were the two matchups. Obviously, they fell through, but it should have been Vettori versus Whittaker. That would have been the rightful number one contender fight. But it is what it is now.
I mean,
Whittaker would have destroyed that man.
It's the rightful contender, but look at who Till fought before, like in terms of
Till was coming off a loss though.
Yeah, but no, wait, was he coming off a loss? Who's he coming off?
Yeah, he lost to Whittaker.
No, but we're talking before that fight, right? We're talking about if it would have happened in March and we swapped them around.
No, but Till lost to Whittaker in July last year.
Wait, what did you say just now?
I'm saying it should have been Vettori versus Whittaker to decide the number one contender.
Instead of Whittaker versus Till, right?
Instead of Whittaker versus Costa and Vettori versus Till. Those were the two matchups that were made within a week of each other. And I was just like, you kind of just got it the wrong way around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if we're talking about in that situation, before they would have been switched over, let's be honest. Let me look at Vittori's last couple of fights. Yes, he's on a win streak, but let's look at who they were against. Kevin Holland.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, because he was on a win streak, he was out of those 4, two of them were on win streak. So those are the guys who should be kind of angling for the next title shot. And the two guys who are on losing streaks.
But I agree, but we got to draw a line. We got to draw a line on a win streak because here I'm going to read out the guys he's got a win streak against. One guy's got a 13-6 record. His name is Andrew Sanchez. Do you know who Andrew Sanchez is?
Yeah, I know who he is. I know he is. He's decent.
Okay.
He's underrated.
He's decent, but he's not. He doesn't compare to Gastelum.
Yeah, of course.
Win against until nullified Gastelum.
That was a split decision though on paper.
Then whoever gave that split decision needs to go find another career. Cesar Ferreira, 13-8, and these are all decisions, by the way. 2020, Jack Hermanson. First it was Carl Robinson, and then Jack Hermanson.
That's a good win.
Carl Robinson 9-4. Jack Hermanson is a very good win. Jack Hermanson is easy.
5 rounds. He dominated him as well. So what I'm saying is
finished him.
That was the opportunity to, and now he's getting a title shot off of something where it's like he doesn't really deserve it. Whereas if he fought Whittaker, you would have seen the rightful number one contender. And if he did beat Whittaker, I don't think he would have beaten Whittaker. But if he did beat Whittaker,
that's what I'm trying to say. Is I don't think
you wouldn't have been able to deny it. No, I don't think he beat Still. But you should have given him that spot. So the winner of that fight is an interesting rematch against Izzy. and they 100% deserve it. Whereas if Till had beaten Vettori, he's still not in a position where he deserves a title shot yet. And if, let's say, Whittaker loses to Costa, again, it's something I don't think happens. Let's say Whittaker loses to Costa and Till beats Vettori. Now you're in a position where it's like no one really deserves a title shot like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. 1,000,000%. The thing is, like, it's like we said, he did well by doing what he did, chasing Izzy after every single fight. Yeah. He did well. He did the opposite of what Bilal just like one of the biggest issues we have with UFC right now, which is fighters getting stepped on. He was by putting that light, he kept bringing that light Izzy shine onto him. He didn't allow himself to be stepped on. Okay, let's get to Damian Maia against Bilal Muhammad. What do you have for this one?
Okay, this is an interesting fight because as much as we say like Damian Maia, he's obviously past his best. He's old. I think this is his last fight on his UFC.
Man. He's 43.
Yeah. I think this is his last fight on his UFC contract, But if the fight goes to the ground, if the fight goes to the ground, he's still one of the very best. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Bilal's game comes down to the grappling, like taking guys down, that pressure. That's something that he can't implement so easily against the Damian Maia. That's why it's such a perfect matchup, because it's just intriguing. Like, where is Damian Maia at the moment? Can Bilal overcome that like kind of tough stylistic matchup? I'm very intrigued by this matchup.
I don't think so. I don't think he can overcome it. I like Bilal. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
His striking isn't so impressive to me. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Damian Maia's striking might be better. Maia's striking might be better.
His striking is not better, but
I don't know about that. What boxing have you seen for Bilal Muhammad? Damian Maia's boxing is not that bad. It's just he's slow.
He's sloppy.
That's the thing. There's a difference. One is slow, and the other one has sloppy technique. Like with Damian Maia, it's just an age thing. He took up boxing so late in his career. Like, I can't really say much about it. But for someone who took up boxing that late,
if Bilal is able to pressure him against the cage, it doesn't matter too heavily whether those shots are sloppy or they're not.
But if he pressures him against the cage, he's in Damian Maia as well.
No, but it can't be like a full-on push, like in clinch or anything like that. He just has to be pressured against the cage, but he's just in his face.
You're forgetting. No one even wanted to get touched by Damian Maia. The aura that he had, it was consuming. This guy was the definition of an anaconda. If this guy is in a position where he's holding you, like pissed. Pretty much you were done. Pretty much. So for Bilal's game plan to even include that, to me, he's written off. I would be pretty shocked if Damian Maia doesn't win. Even though he's 43 years old and he's well past his prime, he's still that dangerous anaconda to me.
The thing is his cardio has taken a noticeable decrease in the last few years.
And his chin, man. His chin. But
he's been the sport has worn on him. So if he's not able to get Bilal out of there in the first round, I can see him like that pressure where he's going to struggle to even grab onto something because he's just so tired.
We've seen that before when he's wilted. We've seen that before where he's like literally like it's like you're fighting in a nightmare, man. Okay, so
I'm going back and forth on this one. I'm going back and forth on this fight.
Back and forth, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like I'm going back and forth in my head like on terms of who's going to win. Like if this is a prime Maia, like I'm not even thinking about
submission, I think.
I'm not even thinking. It's just the cardio factor. Will he submit him in the first round? If not, then I think Bilal wins this.
I say Damian Maia, round 1 submission. That's what I say.
I'm gonna have to join you. I think
you're gonna have to what?
I'm gonna join you. Round 1 submission.
Oh, by the way, are we doing or should we start at the next card?
What, the Prediction League?
Intrinity. Yeah.
We're going to get to that at the end. I'm going to mention it.
Okay.
It's kind of like...
Okay. So for these ones, do we predict the exact round and exact finish as well?
Yeah, so...
Okay, so I said Jamal Hill, round 1 KO.
Yeah, me and you were on the same thing for that. So we're basically like, we win and lose together on these two so far. So
anyone who wants to put in a prediction so far, just based on
I'm gonna put it like do the whole presentation. I'll put the presentation on at the end, so these guys kind of really see like what's about the rules and all of that kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay, let's listen to this, and then we'll get to the big three.
Yeah, I hear what you man are saying about how you don't know what kind of pressure Tony Ferguson was under and what Calder was under to take these kind of fights. But as much as we love watching the UFC, at the end of the day, the only reason we get big fights whenever we won is because the fighters themselves don't actually have that much power. And if the fighters get a bit more power, maybe we don't see the big fights that we see as regular all the time. So it's a catch-22 for the fans and the fighters.
Yeah,
it's a mad one, honestly. If you look at it and you deep it is a little bit mad. It's slightly even reminiscent of like Roman Empire and gladiators and how they had these man. Obviously, it's different, isn't it? That man were slaves more time. Yeah, these men aren't slaves; they're getting paid, and if they get really good, they get paid crazy money. So it is interesting, isn't it? How this line of work works under the UFC and how maybe people are being pressured into taking fights they don't want to take.
It's mad. It is mad because look, if we look at boxing, these guys they have a lot of power where they can reject a fight if they want to, and then go and take another fight where they'll still make a load of money, and it's kind of easy for them to navigate their way through their career without really ever having to fight a fight they don't want to fight. And I really like that that's the one thing I really like about boxing is the opportunity, the fact that you do have power over your career, you do have, you do get the majority of what you deserve, but that's kind of what's kind of driven the sport into what it is, where there's so much greed coming in from TV deals and promoters and all of this, where we don't get the fights you want to see because these guys do have so much freedom. We get, like, if we look at the welterweight division right now in boxing, Spence and Crawford, they both don't want to really fight each other because they both think they deserve more than the other. Whereas in the UFC, they're being forced to make a deal. They're being forced to make a deal done, or the other one of them is getting rubbed out. You see what I'm saying? And then you don't want to be rubbed out because now no one's talking about you. So if that's the UFC controlling that, they're getting shagged in terms of finances, but we're seeing that fight. So it is a catch-22.
As much 100%. As it hurts to say, Jake Paul was right. In terms of the revenue split between athletes and the promotion, there is no other dictatorship like the UFC. I think now that UFC and MMA in general is branching out into more mainstream platforms and more mainstream channels like ESPN,
you'll start getting more pushback against that.
Yeah. Especially with the deals that they're going to be getting, it won't be maybe in the next. I predict within the next 5 years. I hope so. Anyway, there will be a big reshuffle of how the finances are split between the athletes.
The thing is, though, what's frustrating about it is the UFC. Right now, they're paying the athletes 17% of their revenue. So let's say the UFC are making 100 million a year. That's not obviously not the actual figures.
But it's even
they
worse
pay them
than
17.
That's the revenue generated by the fighters, not including anything else. That's not even, if you think of UFC as a brand itself, 70% of revenue generated just by the product itself is nothing compared to the overall revenue that the UFC as a brand is getting from sponsorships, products, all these other things. In reality, they might be getting less than 5% of what they're owed.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like I wouldn't, as much as it's not nice to see guys getting underpaid, I would understand it if it's like one of those things where UFC has to do that to kind of keep the company afloat, keep the company in a good position. I hear it. I understand it. It's not ideal, but whatever. But the UFC could easily triple, quadruple every single fighter's pay.
Especially with that ESPN deal,
and they'd still be in a great financial position. But they've kind of got greedy with it, although they just want to maximize their profits. And the thing is, I think in terms of mainstream appeal, maybe just doubling everyone's wages, right now. I think they're still getting underpaid, but if you double everyone's wages, it's gonna take on a more mainstream friendly kind of appeal. The whole like UFC, like the promotion, everyone's gonna be talking, these fighters have just got a pay rise from UFC. Dana White, what a hero, what a great guy he is. And we might sit here and say,
until you realize that they're doubling
we can sit here, and say like, this is fugazi, like, come on, man, this is they're getting double pay, but they're still getting underpaid. But for the common fan, for the casual, they're gonna see that and think, oh man, this is a sport that really does look after their fighters. They've had some criticism in recent years, and they've responded to that in the perfect way by doubling wages. Sounds crazy, isn't it? Because if you think about LeBron having his wages doubled, you're thinking, wow, he's earning 80 million a year just from his wage or whatever. So I think the UFC should go and do that, and they're still earning crazy amounts.
You know what? Just to tie this back into the card, something you said, it plays a huge part into the card that we're watching. Because here's the thing: if it was okay, it's a bit complicated, but the only reason Israel Adesanya, who's one of the biggest stars, probably top 3 biggest stars in the sport right now, transitioned into MMA is because the finances were not there in his true passions, which were Muay Thai and kickboxing. Yeah. And it's not just with him. So many, if you speak to so many of the young kickboxing prospects that are coming up and Muay Thai prospects coming up, they're all planning to transition to MMA because the money is not there in their own sports. Now imagine the picture that you're building if these prospects are realizing not only when they transition into these sports are they not getting as much money as they would have got if they became if the prospects that they became in Muay Thai or kickboxing, if it was at the same level, not only would they be getting sponsorships in kickboxing and Muay Thai, but they'll be getting the correct promotion and way more rights and way more individual rights. Why are they then going to even be thinking about moving the entire base over to another sport? That's where you need to be careful, because MMA, yes, it is the fastest growing sport, but you keep pushing all this growth off a cliff, it's still going to fall off a cliff. That's why he has to be careful. Because imagine if
you look at the heavyweight division right now, yeah. Other than 3 or 4 guys, this is a pretty empty division, yeah. Imagine all of these guys that are kind of like of age now. They grew up looking at UFC as like a viable alternative to playing in the NBA or playing in the NFL because they know they're getting paid that kind of money. They'll be looking at it like, yo, I want to go, and you'll be seeing some of the best athletes, freak athletes that they've got. America got tons of them. You'll be seeing those guys in the UFC. You'll be seeing a lot of guys who look like Yoel Romero fighting in the UFC, especially in the heavier weight classes.
Boxing, like heavyweight boxing in its prime.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something a bit wild. Heavyweight boxing in its prime has the ability to be MMA has the ability to step on heavyweight boxing in its prime. If Dana White steers this the right way, then we're gonna be getting a division full of Francis Ngannou's. Yeah. If, like you said, he's able to bring in those athletes and steer them away from NBA and NFL, this could become the most exciting era and division in combat sports history.
That's the thing, because as UFC is getting bigger, as MMA as a sport is getting bigger, there's more people that are starting from the ages of 10, ages of 12, saying, oh, I want to be a UFC fighter. And you're going to see more and more talent to the point where 10 years from now, it's going to be like, even we'll be looking back at guys like Khabib and Holloway and thinking, yo, they were so undeveloped compared to the guys that we have right now.
That's crazy, man. Imagine thinking that about Max Holloway in 10 years' time.
I think Khabib, I look at Khabib because he's such a specialist. I think it might be difficult to say that because the way the sport is going, they're going to be very well-rounded. So a guy like Khabib, who's so dominant in one area, might still be like he kind of guy that can transcend eras.
I think Max Holloway, when he retires, will go down as one of the greatest athletes ever. The amount of moments that this guy has given to the sport, these are the kind of things that you don't even realize their history until they become history. Like I can imagine in like 40 years' time, university students have got a big poster of Max Holloway put into the ground, looking at Ricardo Lamb.
Well, you know what is, they say, what's that quote? It's like, it's not about what they do, it's how they make you feel. Like, how many moments has Holloway given us where it's like, there's something like we felt, like when he said, I'm the best boxer in the UFC as he's pushing punches.
It was 6 a.m. and I'm ready to go for a jog.
Bro, I went and worked out. I went and worked out straight after that. Bro, I've gone on runs at 4 a.m. because of Holloway.
Yep. Okay,
when he was teaching Ortega how to box, how to defend the punches.
There's so many. There's ones that we don't even realize. That's the crazy thing.
And the thing is, for a guy who's given us those kind of moments, normally it's a kind of like a low-key guy who, like, he's like a underground legend type guy, like a guy who's like a cult hero. But he's like a champion, like a high-level champion and a cult hero all at once. That's why he's going to go down as like one of the.
He's the creator of the bottle spin challenge, not the bottle spin challenge, the kick. Remember the lid kick?
Yeah.
pop culture icon.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards against Nathan 209 Diaz. Who you got?
Man, I'm gonna say it right now. Yeah, Nate is getting his. He's getting work, bro. Listen, Nate is a
Did you see the
gangster.
face
Yeah.
off?
Yeah. Nate is a gangster because at the end of the day, yeah, he could have come back and fought anyone. Anyone in the UFC between 155 and 170 would have taken that Nate Diaz fight because he's such a big name. He didn't have to go out and fight Leon. Leon, there's two criticisms of him. Is one, he's kind of like a boring fighter. Two, he's kind of boring personality. So his star is not where it needs to be for someone who's as good as he is. He's one of those guys where he's underlooked despite being one of the very, very best in that division. And Nate Diaz is going out of his way. He's going out of his way to fight a guy where he's not going to get the credit if he beat. He's going to get credit, yeah, but he's not got the star power.
Anyone who knows, I disagree. Anyone who knows anything about MMA,
100%. No, 100% for us, yeah. If Diaz goes out and shows us something we've never seen before, and he goes and dominates Leon, even if he just beats him, however he beats him, yeah. If he beats him, we're going to be very impressed. We're going to be like, wow, Nate went out of his way to fight a guy that no one really wanted to fight, yeah. The whole division's been avoiding. Yeah. He's on a 9-fight win streak or whatever, yeah. And he went out and fought that guy who, when Nate Diaz, he's a 155er who's gone up to 170. Leon Edwards is a legit 170er. If he goes out and wins that fight, yeah, we will know. We'll know what's up in it. But to a casual who's never heard of Leon Edwards yet, it's the first time ever seeing Leon Edwards yet. First time they're seeing him and Nate Diaz is beating him, it's like, okay. Yeah. Everyone's guessing him out. He's not that special.
When they faced off, first of all, there's the aspect that he's facing off against a real welterweight. When they faced off against each other yesterday, he looked way bigger than Diaz, man.
Yeah.
Way bigger than Diaz. I was not expecting it. I don't know if it was a mental thing, like the kind of aura Diaz gives off. Also, there's the aura that Diaz has been given off, which, have you noticed, has been a lot more subdued this time around. He's been very respectful towards Leon Edwards. Of course, we're not psychologists. I'm not going to read too much into it. It's just it's not something we're used to seeing from Diaz. Diaz is I don't care who you are, F who you are, F what you stand for. If you're standing in front of me, I don't want to be your friend. A fight is a fight at the end of the day. It's always been that way with him. Always. So to me,
there's a couple aspects that we can kind of like do that to. One, weed is now kind of legal under USADA, where like you're not going to get flagged up for that. So he might be in the interviews where we've seen him, he's high. You know what I mean? So he's more mellowed out. So he's not kind of giving off the same energy that he would otherwise. And the other aspect, maybe there's just not that big name, so he doesn't feel like, because Leon Edwards is like kind of like a understated kind of guy. He's not a big personality like a Masvidal or a Conor McGregor.
Oh, he's been talking his shit.
He might be talking his shit, but like he's not kind of got that kind of personality where you can bounce off the same way we've seen Nate Diaz bounce off of Conor McGregor in the past. So I don't know. It's interesting.
With Nate Diaz, it's the opposite. Nate Diaz was the one where you don't bounce off. Anything you do is like you throw it and it drops.
Yeah.
With him, regardless of who it was always war. And whether we want to admit it or not, Nate Diaz is in the tail end of his career. He's 36 and he's a very, 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 like, I don't want to say old, but he's a 36. He's a 36 with mileage of an 80-year-old. Like, let's keep it real. And whether his fans want to admit it or not, this might be the fight when Nate Diaz gets knocked out.
Yeah, we saw.
I've been considering it a lot more.
I'm like, I've kind of played this fight out in my head like 100 times, and I can't now. If Nate Diaz goes out and wins, that's kind of a testament to how great of a win this is. But I played this fight over in my head like 100 times, and I just can't envision how like what a Nate Diaz win looks like. Of course, you can talk about cardio and BJJ as kind of like his routes to victory. So there are routes to victory there, but I just can't picture it. I look at how he got dominated in the clinch against Masvidal, and Masvidal has got a good clinch game, but I think Leon Edwards' clinch game is a couple levels above. It's a couple levels above Masvidal's clinch game. 100%. And the elbows that Masvidal landed, he landed one to knock down. He landed one to knock down Nate in that BMF fight. And
I remember
Leon Edwards' best move, his best shot that he probably all of his shots is the elbow, the elbow on the break from the clinch.
Elbow off the clinch.
I think
that's the thing with Nate. it started off actually with the Connor 2 fight. He has always been a rope-a-dope kind of fighter. Not rope-a-dope, sorry, what am I talking about? He's always been a lay it on you on the like while your opponent's against the ropes kind of fighter. Against McGregor, he started utilizing that clinch a lot more, hitting shots off the clinch. I don't know if he felt comfort in that, because he then did the same thing against Anthony Pettis, and it was why he was so successful in that fight. And he tried to do it against Masvidal. Masvidal basically out-muscled him.
The thing is, Nate is not bad in the clinch. I don't want to act like this guy.
He's not bad, but he's too comfortable in the clinch.
He's comfortable, but at the same time, he's all right in the clinch.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards, so Masvidal's a few levels above him, and Edwards is like there's levels.
Not just that. Gunnar Nelson himself is one of the best grapplers the UFC has ever seen. He's one of the most underrated grapplers as well.
He got his black belt in 5 years, when the average person takes around 10.
What does that tell you about him?
Yeah.
Menace. He's a Viking. So with Gunnar Nelson, in his own set of skills, his own specialty, not only did Edwards use it against him, but that's where he had his most success, where he caught him with that filthy elbow off the clinch, and he had him on doggy, just looking up, thinking, what is going on here?
Round should have been a 10-8 even. And they were talking about our split decision.
It was the knockdown. Yeah. Because it wasn't just the knockdown. Then Edwards wanted to dominate him in the grappling.
And that's one thing that's that one thing, I think gets overlooked about Leon Edwards. His ground game is very, very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like to dominate. Obviously, Gunnar Nelson was hurt, and obviously he was on top. But still, to have that kind of that game where you're going against someone like Gunnar Nelson and you come out on top on the ground. He can tangle with Nate Diaz on the ground. I'm confident of that.
If it's a straight
if it's straight BJJ match,
but it depends in the way that he engages. I won't give him that. Nate Diaz is out. Oof, he's a killer on the ground.
100%.
Vicious.
100%. He's a better BJJ artist than Leon Edwards. 100%. But at the same time,
how Leon engages him, but he's not going to engage in any guard work. I only see him engaging in the ground game after he drops Nate Diaz, and he's very good at using his leverage and using his hits to the point where he's not going to get caught in your guard. He's going to make sure he's in a position where not only is he
like half guard,
exactly half guard, side control, things that where he can inflict that kind of damage on you. There's one aspect of the BMF fight that if I'm Leon Edwards, I'm licking my lips. Do you remember it's a very not basic, but it's a very standard combo in kickboxing, which is the 1-2 1-2 roundhouse, the one that Masvidal almost finished Diaz with. If it wasn't Diaz, anyone else would have gone to sleep. Where he 1-2'd him and he followed it with a kick and knocked him down. That's Masvidal doing that to him. And I see this one.
I don't know how Diaz survived that, man.
That was filthy. I see one of the scenarios I see playing out is after he catches him with an elbow off the clinch. Diaz has a thing even when he's no, after he catches him,
he follows him up with the high
combo. Yeah. Because that's the thing. When Diaz comes off, we saw it a lot in the Masvidal fight, more so because again he's in the tail end of his career. He relies on his chin to the point where he forgets all else and he stumbles back in a way where he's susceptible to that high kick. And to me, there's only so much the chin can take. And I love Nate Diaz, but this might be the one.
Also, talking about that fight, because it got stopped by the doctors, because there was a doctor stoppage. He had his best round in that fight was round 3. I think he said to himself, I was going to win that fight in the 4th and 5th round. So he hasn't really learned the lessons that he needed to learn from that fight to prepare him for a guy like Leon Edwards. Whereas if that fight had gone 5 rounds and he had lost on decision or he got finished or whatever, he would have come into this fight knowing exactly how he needs to approach it to a better degree. Now he's going to think in round 2 and round 3, he's going to think, okay, I'm losing this fight, but I'm gonna come back and win in the 4th and the 5th. But
there's also that aspect. There's the aspect of he did get plastic surgery to sort out all that scar tissue, which is what leads to him.
This was something that I was thinking we're going to touch on.
We need to see just how effective that surgery was, because the thing is, with a lot of these plastic surgeries,
I don't even know if he's 100% got it, because Dana White said that he's got it to work.
He looks like he's got it. I'll be honest, his face looks a little different. I've noticed. Maybe he just looked bloated. I don't know, but he looked a little different to me. To me, he did anyway. And there was definitely in the commentary. I don't know. That's the thing, because
whether he's got it, whatever it does, I hope that if he's got it, is gonna solve his problem where he doesn't get cut as easily. Because I want to see. I don't want to see this fight get stopped by the doctors again. I want to see a best martial artist win, not the one who can land the most cuts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
To be honest with you, you blow it. Just like you said, you blow on Nate Diaz and he bleeds. That's the issue with him. Yeah. And just imagine that
the elbows.
Oh my God. If there's ever something that's gonna make you, that might be the worst cut he's had.
Blood loss. Yeah.
So I say, here's where it gets a bit. What round though? That's the thing.
Nate is a dog. Nate is a dog. I'm saying round 3. Keep going.
I'm for me.
You thinking
round 1 or round 5? Round 1 or round 5?
I don't think round 5. Round 1.
You said round 3, right?
Yeah.
Sitting on the fence, nice and comfy. I'm going with, and anyone please that's listening in, please, like this is where we want you guys to be.
I'm gonna say early. My caveat to that, I'm gonna say early round 1. So the first half of early round 3. So the first half of round 3 is where I'm thinking it, not like a back end of it or the middle. I think it's gonna be like beginning of round 3.
This is a tough one, man. You know what? I'm gonna go round 5.
So
round 5, Leon Edwards.
Round 5. Okay.
Yeah, round 5. It's gonna be similar to Ferguson, I think. A little bit similar to that. We got a voice note in from Bilal. Let me play it, and then we'll move on to the co-main event.
I was recording a message. I'm not even sure if it's sent, but I'm just gonna say it again just in case. But Leon Edwards, this is a perfect fight for him. Fighting Nate Diaz, getting some of that shine on him, which he doesn't really have. Obviously, people, I think, started taking notice of Leon Edwards after that incident with Masvidal backstage. I believe it's UFC London. Masvidal gave him the two-piece.
So
the 2 or 3 guy just hit him a few times. So since then, I think Leon Edwards, some people, casuals, they're starting to take notice of him. But Diaz, you can't really count him out fully. But the way Masvidal just played with him, battered him, man. Honestly, like Diaz, he's at the back end of his career. At the end of the day, he's a fighter. He's a cardio freak, and he's not one to just get banged in one go. And he's not one to even give someone a one bang just like that as well to put them out. So I think Nate Diaz, this goes the distance probably. Leon Edwards got the power to put him away, but perfect fight for Leon Edwards to win and get that shine on him as well. So yeah.
You've just jogged my memory. He's just jogged my memory. Nate Diaz has been finishing his career.
Yeah, but Josh Thompson.
Yeah, and what was the combo? It's that exact same combo, man. That exact same combo, and I'm pretty sure it's because he got lazy off the clinch. Oh, wait, I think he hurt him. He tried to clinch with him, and then he knocked him down. I think it was something like that. Man, listen, like, whoever you are, however, whatever chin you have, and we're gonna get to this because Vittori's got a cinder block for her head. Whoever you are, like, you fool. And this isn't bare knuckle fighting or whatever. If you're taking a certain amount of damage, this isn't as brutal a sport as people make it out to be. The referee is going to come in and stop it.
Yeah. We've got Abdi Sharif here saying round 2 Nate Diaz.
Round 2 Nate Diaz.
I would be very surprised.
Yeah,
I would be very.
I want to know how.
That is a bold decision. That is a bold prediction.
Very bold.
But listen, all the props in the world. If that comes off right, round 2 Nate Diaz. If Nate Diaz wins in general, I'm going to give you a lot of props for that. If he wins in round 2,
you know what? Stay tuned till the end because we've got a little announcement that we're going to make. And let's just say, if you're right with that prediction, you'll be laughing.
You'll be laughing.
Yeah.
We've got round 3 Edwards here. Yeah.
Round 3
same as me. Same as me.
Okay. Let me just have a look. No, we ain't got no messages for now. All right. Do you want to move on to the co-main event?
Yeah, co-main, man. The rematch that we've all been waiting for. What is it? Number 3 fight of the year last year. It was a fight that came together on short notice, 21 days. They're both coming off a fight in November. They ended up fighting again in December. And it ended up being the greatest title fight in featherweight history, in flyweight history even. That is Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. the God of War himself versus the assassin baby.
No. Run that back again. Run that back again. Run that back again. Back in the 17th, no, earlier than that. Back in the 11th century, I don't know if any of you played Assassin's Creed. There was this clan of Templars, right? And what they did was they built up a generation through the 11th century to the 21st century, a generation of people blending into the civilians, blending in with the face of a baby, and they created a generation of assassins. Little did you know, 2,000 years later, that spawn of those that clan was Brandon Moreno, the baby assassin, the same man who was out here collecting Pokemon cards like the cutest little boy from down the road, the same man who's got his own little toy collection. Did you see his reaction when he found out he got a toy? This is the most wholesome person in the history of male UFC. When he got matched up against Davison Figueiredo, the God of War himself, right?
Man, he's a wrecking ball.
You know what they said? I saw a YouTube comment. They said, "Evil Mighty Mouse." The wrecking ball himself. When I saw Moreno
he's just finishing people. You saw what happened to Benavidez. Oh man, it was brutal. It was brutal. He's just knocking him all over the octagon.
In front of his wife, man. His wife.
He comes out and finishes Alex Perez in the first round. Honestly, I was saying, listen, Brandon Moreno is tough. I knew he was a tough guy. I knew he was game. So I was thinking, listen, I'm going Figueiredo round 2.
Did I tell you not to sleep on Moreno?
I think you did.
Moreno, let me tell you one thing about Moreno. Moreno has some of the most slick boxing.
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
And he's a very good grappler as well.
He's got some long reach as well. He's 5'6", and he has a 70-inch reach.
Yeah.
That's a long reach for a 70-inch reach.
5'10" reach.
Davison Figueiredo has a very long reach for the flyweight division, and he's got 68-inch. He's got 70-inch. There's some people in the lightweight division that don't have 70-inch.
Habib had 69, I think, 70. Around that same.
To be honest, if I'm being real, Habib had T-Rex arms.
No, but the thing is, but he's still a lightweight. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't have a horrible reach, because to have a reach same as your height, that's kind of like about average.
Yeah, it's just we're used to at the top end, we're used to strikers who have that long reach. The Poiriers and the McGregors.
Yeah.
Anyone who didn't watch the Davison Figueiredo against Brandon
Moreno,
watch
that. Fight, right? Oh, turn this off.
Listen. I don't care if you're at work right now. I don't care if your wife is in labor and you're out there in the waiting room stressing. I don't care if you're in I'm not going to say chemotherapy. Or if you're on chemotherapy, you can take a little break and watch this fight. I'm sure it will de-stress your situation. Actually, no, it'll cause more stress because that was a 5-round bloodbath.
Bro, what are you talking about, man? Stop. Listen, you're lucky we're just starting our YouTube journey here now. You
know what?
2 years from now, you're getting clipped dirty.
If I'm getting clipped out and it brought someone to that fight, then to me it's worth it. To me, that's good promotion. Listen, when there's certain fights that you watch, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got a heart of stone. You're an ice cold piece of crap. When you see an underdog like that coming up against this menace, this behemoth, this new era of flyweights,
not many people gave him a chance.
No
one
did.
Real, not many people gave him a chance at all.
No one did.
The people who were giving him a chance, they weren't even giving him a chance like that. They were saying, "Oh yeah, I think he's going to be tougher than we expect, but he's still going to get finished." You know what I mean? I think he's going to give Figueiredo one of his tougher fights. It's going to go 3 rounds and he's going to get knocked out. That was the kind of narrative that people were going with, and those were the people that were being most complimentary to Moreno. Most people were saying he's getting finished in the first round, maybe the second round. And he proved everyone wrong.
He was a -334 betting favorite. And of course, the thing is, with someone who's not named, you have to take this as a pinch of salt. Whenever there's someone that's not such a big name, you're always going to have people throwing money on the underdog, just in case, because UFC is a very you get some every now and again.
It's an unpredictable sport, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially off UFC fights. So realistically, he was a -500 betting favorite. He not only did he stand toe to toe with one of the scariest men in the history of that division. I actually thought before it was getting announced, if it wasn't for that takedown in the last round from Figueiredo, I thought Moreno was going to win it. That's what, like, if Moreno won it and it wasn't for that, like, let's say that takedown never happened. If Moreno won it, I would not have thought, okay, this was a robbery. I would have thought, okay,
But at the
fair
same
enough.
time, though, if it wasn't for that, the point deduction, then Figueiredo would have won.
I forgot about the point deduction. I can't wait. I've been saving the fight to rewatch it. I was going to rewatch it today. That is an all-time classic. That's the kind of fight that gives you chills. That's the kind of fight that gets you emotional. That's the kind.
Listen, last year, they took the top spot for fight of the year. Almost any other year, that fight is getting number one honors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how good that fight is.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
you know
that's
what?
like, that's art.
In my opinion, like that. The Joanna and Weili fight, which is one of the great. Some people say the greatest fight of all time, and you wouldn't be far off.
That's my favorite fight of all time.
It's up there. Like, if you know what, fair enough. That's like, let's say that's up here. Figueiredo Moreno's just a couple levels below that. Just a couple levels.
Yeah.
That is, to me, not only did it have story, it showed heart, it showed skill, technique. It was a true MMA fight. It showed every aspect of MMA, whereas the Weili and Joanna fight was mainly like a striking battle. That showed every aspect of MMA in all its beauty. It showed the division in all its beauty, the speed, the technique, the transitions. And the transitions that division have long been hailed as the best ever. Like, the transitions that you see, the wrestling and grappling transitions are some of the most entertaining aspects in MMA.
And
like, give me
if we notice the criticism of the lighter division, so the flyweight division, I guess, like the women's divisions as well, is 2 of the 3 best fights of last year, probably the top 2, were women's strawweight and a flyweight fight.
Exactly. So for predictions,
oh man, listen, I'm supporting Moreno, but I think Figueiredo he's gonna
finish it.
Learn his lessons. I think and you can only take so much punishment because he took a lot of punishment that fight. You know what I mean? And Figueiredo also knows that Moreno is going to hang about. Like, he's not going into this fight thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go finish him in the first round."
Boxing mentality.
Because Figueiredo, of course, like, you look at who's taller, who's got a longer reach, it's Moreno. But Figueiredo, he's a bigger built guy, so he has a hard time cutting weight. He's missed weight a few times. Last time he was fighting 21 days after another fight. Both of them were. I think that affected him more.
That's the aspect that he doesn't look like he's at a good weight cut. He never does, though, man. He never looks like he has a good weight cut. He doesn't look like he's at a good weight cut, to be honest, man. If he hasn't had a good weight cut,
the weight's happening right now.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't think he's weighed in. Yeah, he hasn't weighed 50 minutes to go, and Figueiredo, Riddell, and Peterson haven't weighed in. Everyone else has weighed in. So we've got all our fights except for Figueiredo. The fact that he's taken this long is never a good sign. Never. Never, ever, ever.
You want to be in and out.
He might miss weight. I would not be. To me, like, he's looked like on day 1 of Embedded, he looked like how he should be looking on day 5 from what we've seen over the years. Like, of course, you're always going to look like you're on death's door when you're weight cutting as much as these guys weight cut, but you should never be looking like that on day 1. Never. Never, ever, ever. Like, I feel for him because I don't know he doesn't seem that big. Like, I don't know if he's carrying excess muscle that he doesn't need to be carrying, or I think it might be his diet. It's probably his diet or his nutrition, because there's been bigger guys who have had better weight cuts than him. So maybe he needs to take a good look at his team and take a good look at himself and see the way that he's been cutting weight, because it's clearly not doing him any favors. So I think, honestly, there's 2 ways. Either the weight cut plays a big issue into it. If when he comes into the weight room, I was gonna say, when he comes into weigh in, if he looks as bad as I think he does, I think Moreno finishes him. Yeah. No, I do. As good as you are, the weight cut is a bad weight cut will destroy any man, no matter who you are. If he manages to hydrate well, like, it all depends on his health. That shows how good of a fighter he is. if Figueiredo comes in as healthy as he says he is, I love Moreno and I'm supporting him for this fight. But he's gonna be way more patient and he's gonna put it on Moreno. And I think he finishes him in either round 1 or round 2. I'm gonna go for a healthy Figueiredo finishing Moreno in. Actually,
He's so tough.
round 4.
Yeah, I was going to say round 4. I'm going to say round 4. I'm just going to base it. I'm going to assume we see the best of both guys. Obviously, like, we don't know what's going on with the weight cut situation. Riddell and Peterson have now weighed in, I think. We're just waiting on Figueiredo. You never want to be waiting on one of the title fights to be the last guy weighing in. But I'm just going to assume that he's like the weight cut hasn't had a huge toll on him. And he's going to make weight, and it's just I don't know. He just wanted to sleep a bit more or whatever. And I'm just going to assume that. Yeah, I'm gonna say Figueiredo TKO round 4.
Now I'm thinking submission. Now I'm too flip floppy with this one. It can go so many ways. There's so many ways it can go.
But watching the first fight, the grappling.
He did, but it was more of like the transitions and the
scrambles.
Yeah, it wasn't like the sort of technique that we're used to seeing Figueiredo. I think round 5 we're going to see a damaged Moreno and a wilted Moreno, and I think he's going to put it on him. He's going to put it on him late. Round 5. I'm going round 5 TKO.
For Figueiredo?
Yeah. I hope not.
What did you go
for Assassin Baby?
You're going with Assassin Baby?
No.
You want Assassin? Okay, yeah. You're rooting for Assassin
Baby.
Yeah, me too.
Who's not rooting for him? If you're not rooting for him, you ain't got a heart.
Yeah. And then
the main event conference. Nate Diaz tried to offer him.
He said no. And then he's there, like asking about. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is the first time I met him. He's a great guy."
Did you see the detective that kept asking Nate Diaz what he was smoking?
Yeah,
the undercover detective.
I'm thinking, yo, man.
I thought
we'll get it, man.
I thought Nate Diaz was gonna wild out on him. All right, let's get to the main event.
There's something you're smoking there. What is?
No, it was so bad, man. It was so cringy for real. It's like a it's like a 45-year-old dad trying to ask his son for his dealer.
You know what it is, yeah. Like. You know that meme, yeah. Of the my driller. You know that one. That's what it's like.
The baitest undercover ever. All right, let's get to the main event and try to wrap it up because I need to get to training in a bit. So the main event, Israel,
got
the last
style
against
the guy from the Goonies, Meathead.
Hey, we don't do that on Intrinity. We don't take sides.
Bro, you just said you wanted Moreno to win. What are you talking about?
That's different. If you're not taking sides in Moreno against, this is like a super villain against you know what it reminds me of? Remember in One Punch Man, there was the bike guy who tried to come save the
Mugen Rider or whatever it is. Mugen Rider.
Okay.
But obviously this is a rematch, so we've seen them fight once before. It was a split decision. I see certain contingents of the UFC fan base who still are adamant to this day that he beat Adesanya in that first fight. He's still adamant. He's still adamant that he beat him in that first fight. I've watched. It's been a while since I watched the first fight. From what I remember, it was like, okay, it's an Adesanya win.
It wasn't
Adesanya
close.
got the first 2 rounds.
It wasn't close.
Like, it was a 29. It was a 29-28, but like I didn't see the split decision there.
Even then, like. I'm pretty sure it was he either got up before the take. He either worked him before the takedown or he got up and started working him. But even then, that round it wasn't like a shutout. That round, either way, like if he would have went to Adesanya, I wouldn't have been surprised because the striking clinic he put on Vittori in that fight. He's got a chin and the cinder block head to go with that.
Who can you compare?
Okay, let me take this one. He's got the cinder block head of Gastelum, and he's got.
He's quite well rounded, to be honest. To be fair to him, he's a well rounded.
So he's got,
if you're a grappler who don't have striking at all, like a Hermanson whose striking is not very good, he can completely dominate you in the striking. If you're a striker like a what's his name, Kevin Holland, whose grappling is not very good, he can completely dominate you in the grappling. So he is a well-rounded fighter.
I would compare him in that division to Derek Bronson, but with more of a chin. And with less lazy technique. And bigger. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
he's very big. If he fought a light heavyweight, I wouldn't be like, he could fight a light heavyweight.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's just he's a bit shorter compared to the other light heavyweights, but he's a very, very, very big boy.
Yeah.
Adesanya, in my eyes, has leveled up so much to the point where, like, against these guys, that he's just another level right now. It's exactly what he said. If he already was piecing him up before on his come up, he's been finishing guys now like a sniper. He's just the only thing saving Vettori in this fight is that cinder block head, in my opinion.
And now he's comfortable in the face of takedowns. He's been in there with Yoel Romero, Olympic silver medalist wrestler. He's been in there with a Derek Bronson. Like, he's been in there with top tier wrestlers. So he's comfortable striking in the face of that kind of adversity, a level of pressure. Back then, obviously, he's not used to the UFC. He hasn't fought UFC level grapplers or anything like that. So he would have been a bit tentative. He would have been like, oh yeah, can I get taken down? What happens if I get taken down? Do I lose? I think we're going to see a more confident, a more comfortable Adesanya. And I think this, I don't want to say it's going to be his best performance, but it's going to be right up there. Like, I think we're getting a highlight because Vettori's so tough. I think this is one of those matchups where it's made to look Adesanya. It's going to make Adesanya look very good because this guy is very durable, and you're going to see a few rounds of Adesanya styling on him, landing shots. Like, when we saw Holloway versus Ortega. If Ortega wasn't as tough as he was, we wouldn't be ranting and raving about that performance years down the line, because we wouldn't have been able to see how he kept it up for so long. I think we're going to see. Yeah, we're going to see. I think we're going to see Adesanya dominate.
Like, having said all that, the many years that we've been watching MMA, this is one of them dangerous ones where it's always in one of these matchups where somehow you get there's something in my head telling me there's a scenario where every round he takes Izzy down and he lays on him each round. There's something in my head telling me that.
And think about it, Vettori has been focused on Izzy this whole time. Since he's fought Izzy the first time, he's been thinking, I need to get back to Izzy. There's probably a certain amount of his training that he dedicated, regardless of who he's fighting or if he's in camp or not, where he's thinking about, I need to get better at this so I can fight against Izzy. Whereas Izzy's not
who's his training partner?
Who is it?
Kelvin Gastelum.
Oh, yeah, of course, the guy who's given Izzy his toughest fight. But think about Izzy, he moved past Vettori. He said, okay, I finished that guy. Like, obviously I didn't finish him, but I finished this chapter, this part of my UFC career. I'm going on to bigger and better things. So Vettori, he's not thinking about Vettori. He's not focused on how can I beat Vettori better this time. Whereas Vettori, he's fixated on Adesanya, on how he can beat Adesanya. We've seen it in boxing in the 90s with what's his name? Holyfield. He was fixated on Mike Tyson for so long, He lost to Riddick Bowe, and people were saying he's got no chance against Mike Tyson. But this guy's whole career, he's thinking about, I want to be able to beat Mike Tyson. He studied Mike Tyson's game inside and out. The whole world by beating Mike Tyson. And then he beat Mike Tyson a second time. This is what happens when you are fixated on someone so much, where you're studying their game inside and out, and the other guy's not thinking about you. So there is that aspect that we definitely have to consider in this fight.
For me, as confident as Israel Adesanya is, he needs to work him just like how he works everyone else. He needs to be as patient as possible. He needs to start low with a trunk, cutting down the tree trunk. Vettori will expect that. That's the thing that's worrying.
I was watching an interview with Adesanya, BT Sport. I was listening to it whilst I was at the gym, and Adam Catterall, I think he's the best interviewer in the game, by the way. He was asking Adesanya, what did you learn from that Blachowicz fight? And he said to be more patient, to when I see a guy is hurt, not to lay it on, because that's what happened.
Mhm.
That's when I got taken down. And I've already credited him as being someone who is patient a lot of the times. I think that's just going to heighten it.
I think if he rematches Blachowicz, it's a lot closer than people are making it out to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, people were acting like it was a shutout.
No, it wasn't.
It was just, there was certain things
I had it
in there
48-47 for Blachowicz.
if there was certain things in there that were tweaked, especially
Yeah.
there were moments where it felt like he definitely had him hurt. I don't know if it was the
And
counting,
those last two rounds,
influencing
yeah,
us.
he wasn't gassed, but Blachowicz was definitely tired. You could see he was tired. If he and he won those 2 rounds with the takedowns. If he didn't manage to get those takedowns, if Adesanya had been slightly less aggressive,
And
where he's
Blachowicz
thinking,
is a
"Oh yeah,
big boy, big boy." The
he's
thing
hard to
is,
get him."
People forget the gap between middleweight. People acting like he jumped from.
And
Like, a lot of these,
Adesanya didn't put on any weight for that fight. He thought, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go in there." And at the time, I was thinking, "Oh yeah, this is a good decision because he's going to be just as fast all the time." But in hindsight, how did he get dominated in the way where we were worried he was going to get dominated because he wasn't big enough?
Too big. Yeah. It was
also
people,
another aspect of that fight. Another aspect of that fight that was in a small cage.
Yeah,
it was in the apex.
Izzy's not the type of guy that would ever use that as an excuse. Though.
No, he wouldn't. He didn't. He didn't mention it at all. But for us, we know that can change the impact of a fight.
Yeah. But like, he got a lot of stick acting like, oh, the fight with John Jones is cancelled and da. With a lot of these double champs that try to achieve greatness, it's always the 10-pound difference. With McGregor, it was 145 to 155. Amanda Nunes, it was 135 to 145. With DC, I know it's a bit different because he is an actual heavyweight, so he's like the anomaly of the equation. However, with Adesanya, he jumped. Not only did he jump 20 pounds from 185 to 205, practically 2 divisions. Blachowicz is a big guy. Him and Stipe side by side. Stipe in some pictures would probably look smaller than him. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, if you told me he was fighting a heavyweight, I would believe you. So no, I don't think that fight with John Jones is out of the picture. I think it's still very much in that, and I think, like, regardless of the fears I have as an Izzy fan, I think this is going to be an absolute shutout. I think we're going to see a beautiful performance. I think he's going to put it on Vettori in a way that we haven't seen before. I think this was going to be his greatest performance. His greatest performance in MMA. His what?
Magnum opus, if you will.
Yeah. I think this is going to be...
I think this is what I'm saying about Vettori, because he's so tough. I think he's a guy who can bring that out of Adesanya, because we saw Costa, he got finished in 2 rounds. He didn't really show that level of toughness, and we've seen him gas before and that kind of thing. I knew Adesanya was going to stand on him. I knew Adesanya was going to win that fight. The odds had it pretty close, which I was amazed by going into that. But I think Vettori provides Izzy with the platform to give like a 3-round masterclass,
especially
rather than
them little snippets where Kevin Holland was successful with the striking.
Exactly. I just keep on coming back to that. And Adesanya's got much better takedown defense. He's a much better striker. He's a lot more patient.
The only aspect is the one that you brought up, and it's the Holyfield effect. Like, other than that, that's a scary aspect though. So anyone who's listening, don't sleep on that aspect. Those are the kind of instances that build a champion. So other than that scenario, this, in my opinion, is going to be a shutout. I say round 5 decision as Adesanya.
Yeah. Do you think Vettori will do what to Romero and Costa did, waiting for Izzy to make the first move?
No.
That's not his game.
No. He is going to try and make it as uncomfortable and as, for the audience, as boring as possible. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try weigh on him. He's going to try outdog him, basically, because he knows whether he wants to admit it or not. He knows technique for technique, speed for speed, and maybe power for power. He doesn't have what Israel has. He doesn't. So no, I say no.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to be boring. I don't think it's going to be a boring fight. And I don't think he's going to he's going to wait for kind of Izzy to make that move and force him into that kind of chess match, because he's going to lose a chess match. You know what I mean? Like, Romero, at least there's that aspect where he's thinking, okay, I'm very
Romero is
exclusive.
a
I've got
very
power.
smart and a technical
You know what I mean?
fighter. That's what people don't
So
realize.
he can think that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait for him, and then at the last moment I'm gonna hit him with this. Vettori can't do that because now he's fighting a completely different style that he's not used to. Adesanya has come across that style a few times. He's gonna be, and he's
a
longer
very good
than.
question, by the way. It's a solid question.
Okay. Our prediction, because I think we need to wrap this up. We need to talk about the prediction and then the prediction league as well. So I'm going Izzy. Oh, man, I keep on going round 3. I feel like I'm sitting on the fence by saying round 3. But yeah, I'm going round 3 TKO from Izzy.
TKO.
He's gonna finish it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I say
I don't think he's gonna be a
1-5
straight.
Izzy decision.
Oh, 5-round decision.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, have we gone against each other in any of these fights? We're all on the.
Let me have a look.
We quickly go through the Hill.
I wanted to go for Moreno. To be honest, you know what? To make things interesting, I feel like going for Moreno. Because there is, to be honest with you, there's a big part of me that thinks Moreno takes this.
Yeah,
and for now, I'm gonna stay with Figueiredo. I'm gonna tell you privately after we see the weigh-in if I feel like I was wrong. But for now, I'm sticking with Figgy.
Fair enough. Let me just check the Figueiredo situation quickly to see if he's.
Now as well. I don't think he is.
I don't think he's weighed in yet.
Yeah, this is not looking good for anyone that's listening. Figueiredo does not have much time left to weigh in.
I saw one rumor on Twitter saying that he was into the final 20 minutes of the UFC and we're still waiting. Yeah.
That he what?
Last 20 minutes. We're in the last 20 minutes and we're still waiting on him. But I saw one rumor on Twitter saying that he's a pound over and he's gonna get that extra half an hour cutting time or whatever it is. Do
you get that past the limit though?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap it up.
So our final prediction: you're going 5-round decision, Adesanya. I'm going round 3, TKO Adesanya. There's one thing that we wanted to introduce. Let me just. And that is Intrinity Fight Prediction League. Something that's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to share it on the screen so you guys can see.
What we can do is like every podcast from now on, like at the beginning, we could do like a brief recap and intro to anyone else who wants to jump in, like any new fans that want to contribute.
Sure. Cool. That's in the studio. You can't see that on the screen yet. Okay, it's in studio. I'm gonna go here. Can you see what's on my screen now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So that's Intrinity Fight Prediction League. Yeah. So the Prediction League set up. Everyone who's here, who's in the YouTube comments, even if you're listening to us on stereo, come to our YouTube channel. That's Intrinity Sports TV. We're going to play around with the name a bit, and just check out the show. Come to the comment section. So predictions are to be made in the comment section. They'll take place before each card starts in the video that we do. In the video that we do it for, it must be made at least 1 hour before the main card, or your predictions won't count. And these predictions, by the way, they're only for the main card. So we're not doing prelims. Obviously, we've kind of talked about the prelims, but we've touched on them. There's going to be a chart available that will keep track of the leaderboard of, and that'll be in the description of each video, starting from our next video. And the winner at the end of the year, there'll be 2 winners. There'll be a winner who gets the most points, and then there's going to be a highest percentage of points won. So, and that has to be a minimum 8 prediction cards predicted. So if someone does start watching our videos later on, they won't be completely ruled out of this kind of competition. We've talked a little bit about the prizes. We're thinking about UFC tickets. Obviously, with how the world is right now, we don't know how feasible that's going to be, but that's kind of our idea. For 2022, we're going to get UFC tickets to probably UFC London, which I think is a pretty cool prize, especially if you're just coming on to a YouTube channel and predicting videos, predicting fights. So the rules. So the number of rounds in a fight would dictate how many points are on offer. So, like for example, it's a 3-round fight, you can get 3 points. If it's 5-round fight, you get 5. So on a 3-round fight, 1 for the correct winner, 1 for the correct round, and 1 for the correct method. And for a 5-round fight, you get 2 points for the correct winner, 2 for the correct round, and 1 for the correct method. Points are only available for round and method if winner are correct. So let's say, for example, you predicted Adesanya to win by decision, as you did, but Vettori wins by decision. You don't get the points for decision. You just get if the fight, in the event that fight is a draw, you get the points for the round you picked if you picked it to go to decision. So if Adesanya versus Vettori ends up as a draw, you'll get 1 point for you'll get 2 points for correct round. Obviously you won't get the points for picking Izzy as the winner. You won't get the points for the correct method, and you'll get the points for the correct method as well. And a no contest will cause the whole bout to be void, so it won't affect your win percentage. Yeah, that's just a little thing that I think is pretty cool. You know what I mean? You've got the opportunity to win some UFC tickets potentially. Just come into our videos, watching our videos, and making your predictions. So if you want to just put that from any time from now, put your predictions of who you think is going to win in each of the main card fights, the round and the method. You're in with a chance of winning UFC tickets. Yeah.
Are we doing this just for the pay-per-view cards or for the fight night cards as well?
So I'm thinking to do it for every fight because it just kind of builds up that kind of a sense of community where these guys have an opportunity to really get involved week on week, and that gives them more opportunities to kind of build up their win percentage, more opportunities to predict fights, to learn about the UFC because you're watching more fights because you're thinking, okay, I can get UFC tickets.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be pretty cool. Obviously, we're going to be involved as well. We're going to put our predictions ourselves in the comment section, so you'll have the chance to predict to compete against us. Sure, if you know more about MMA than us, you know what I mean. So I think that's pretty
cool. For
cool.
anyone who's just joined in, what we're going to be doing is just a rough overview. Is we're going to be starting a prediction league whereby you guys challenge us week in, week out, and by tallying the points that we get based on not just the correct round but the correct finish and the correct fighter, we'll tally your points. So of course, the more specific you are, the more points you get. And at the end of, we're hoping around, once we get to the end of 2021, which should be around the time that a local UFC card will be announced, because normally they do March card. So the winner should get a ticket to that event.
There should be 2 winners as well. So a winner for the most points and the winner for the highest win percentage. So if you have missed cards, if you do miss cards, don't think it's the end of the world. Don't think that you can't join in because you've missed the last 2 cards or whatever, you've forgotten 1 week. Don't think that you don't have a chance to win. So also touching on that, for our next video, which might be out next week, we'll see how it goes. We're gonna have a chart in the comment section in the description where you can see who's at the top of the leaderboard and just how the fight predictions have gone so far, and you can just kind of keep track of where you are, how close you are to winning those tickets.
Can't wait to
make your predictions,
be the
guys.
one that wins this.
Anyway, man, I think you need to listen. Last fight card. Didn't you go 0-5?
Hey, we don't talk about that. What about the one before that, huh?
Listen, you got 4, I got 2, and that was a bad night at the office for me. Was getting 2. A bad night at the office for you.
You know what
0.
it was, because I went with my heart that night. That night I went with my heart. Starbender is the most electrifying fight. Yes, you're damn right, Abdi Sharif. He is. When he goes into his last Starbender mode, it's one of the most beautiful things. Exactly. Needs to happen. We're gonna get that. I think he's gonna, if he puts on the clinic, we say, whether you're watching this fight or not, go on YouTube as soon as the fight's done, check on UFC. I think he's gonna rip the best promo of his career. He's gonna come for John Jones's neck. Either he's coming for John Jones next or poor Bobby Knuckles. One of them is gonna get it.
He's gonna talk about Bobby Knuckles. He's gonna say you guys forgot because I lost my last fight. You think I'm still here?
I must have forgot.
There's one question on stereo. If you just want to play that, and then we'll sign out.
That's the one that Samuel sent through a while ago. It's just
cool.
there's nothing on there. It's just cut off audio.
Yeah, man. You've got to go to training. What's that Muay Thai today?
Yeah. I'm gonna check if I'll even be able to make it now. We'll check, hopefully. So thank you guys for tuning in. We've got a beautiful night of fights on Saturday. Make sure you're tuning in, whether you're a mainstream fan or whether you're a hardcore fan. Do not miss it. From the beginning of the prelims to the end of the main card.
At least catch the main prelims. At the very least, catch the main prelims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got superstars on this card. We've got Nate Diaz, we've got Adesanya. We've got Adesanya and Nate Diaz, who are two of the biggest stars in the UFC today. So this is a card you don't want to miss.
Exactly.
Man, this last 2.5 hours have flown by.
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you all for your input. It's much appreciated. It's always nice to talk MMA and 100%. Just anything with you guys. So we'll see you guys hopefully next week for what could be one of the greatest fights of all time. Dan Ige against the Korean Zombie. Yeah, man. Guys, thanks for listening. Get your predictions in now. Get them in by 2 p.m., 2 a.m. tomorrow, or 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. And we're going to start this prediction league. I think it's going to be fun. Thanks, guys. Awesome. See you guys next week.